my mind, I've got 'em big red on the line. That's where I go when I'm itching to feed my 7-day addiction.
I feel like Andy Reid right now.
Yeah, there you go. You just won the Super Bowl.
Dude, where's Patrick Mahomes right now?
Yeah, you're not going to Disneyland. You're coming down to McAllen, right? That's how you're celebrating it.
Exactly.
I was about to order a number 2 with cheese. Sir, can I have a number 2 with cheese?
Yeah, hell yeah. Dude, you want that super size?
All right, sorry about that, guys. Actually, we were a little bit camera shy a little while ago, so we had to get a little bit relaxed a little bit here. So we just kind of took some moments to kind of get caught up here and catch up and kind of get settled in here. But thanks, guys, for waiting here. We had people waiting out here for we've been live for about 20 minutes here, but they were watching our backdrop, right? But still, people were tuned in, and that tells me that they're excited to
hear
see
anything bad.
no, I don't know.
As long as it wasn't mic'd up, right?
No, they definitely were. So no, everyone. Yeah, so, but thanks guys for tuning in to the Art of Fishing show. This is episode 14, and for any of you guys that are new to our show, this show is all about sharing the passion and love of fishing. Like we just get together here, talk, and regardless of who you are, where you're from, we all have that same passion. Like, and you can take two people that never met each other, and you just talk about fishing, and one's been fishing for a long time and one's just getting into it, and it's just like a bond, like right off the bat. So that's what this show is all about, is trying to get people out there, get them educated, give them tips, as well as kind of tell everybody what we can do to really help people become better anglers and really just enjoy the fishing. And then that's really what today's topic is about. Today's topic, in the past, we've done topics about like fishing tips and kind of helping people introduce them to different aspects of it, but really wanted to take this kind of episode really to share some stories, right? Because everybody has stories. You can talk.
You want the truth or the lie?
Somewhere in the middle.
We want to go with the lie first and then the truth, right? So this is what you thought happened, but this is what really happened.
If you don't lie,
But it ended up this way.
if you don't lie, you're not a fisherman.
That's right. You gotta-
So my guests here are Captain Smiley and Michael from Down South Lures, and really we're just gonna jump right into this, guys. So we're actually really pumped about this, and actually our fans are here pretty pumped about here too. We've got some people. Right here, Carlos is asking about a bottle. I don't know exactly what he's looking for, but it's saying.
I can't lie. It's over there.
so that's kind of the way to get started.
Drinking bottle or the fishing bottle? Which one you want?
I don't know. I got both.
He's got a gentleman over there. There's a gentleman waiting for you over there.
So I think most of our guys know us, but I'm going to give you guys a chance to kind of introduce yourself to anyone out here, and I guess we'll start. Okay, so a little bit about what you do and where you like to fish, or just a little bit of background around you, and so we can kind of introduce you guys to our guests.
Well, hey, I'll go first, Smiley.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know how
Upper
to
Coast guy. Know Mansfield a little bit. Started out freshwater fishing. Believe it or not, didn't catch my first redfish till I was a teenager. But, man, we could catch some bass back in the day. I was lucky enough to live right down the street from my uncle who had a skeeter, and he'd take my little snot-nosed butt fishing every time he got a chance, and I'm sure I was a pain in the butt. But, hey, man, learned a lot of valuable stuff. And I'll tell you right now, if you can catch a dock bass at Lake Conroe that's seen 20,000 spinnerbaits and 20,000 Sinkos, you can catch anything. So then we rolled on over into saltwater, and the rest is history. And hell, I bought my first shallow sport when I was 23. And then, we just went from there. And then that's kind of how I met Smiley. We just went down to the shallow sport tournament. And, man.
It was this movie. Hey,
And that's kind of where fishing stories are told, right?
That's a shallow sport. That's a shallow sport.
Yeah, exactly.
You could just smell what's in here.
You're a little bit shallow right now. And Captain Smiley, tell us a little bit about yourself here.
Well, my dad wasn't really around, but my uncles were. And they took me out fishing in Arroyo City. I got pictures when I was 8 years old out there fishing off the bank. And
Black and white pictures, I bet.
yeah. All right.
No, it's before that.
Take another one. Take out. No, my uncle would take me out a lot out there fishing and catch a lot of damn catfish. Still do every once in a while, but that's how I picked up going fishing out there. Started with that there, catching gar, and just where I'm at now.
And it was saltwater right off the bat?
Yeah. Well, it was saltwater when we weren't bass fishing. We had canals. We would go out there for the bass, or we'll go out for the damn tarpon. I'll go steal my mom's masa, you know, I put a little hook.
There's a
that
secret. That's a
carpet,
tip.
yeah,
That's a tip.
That's a tip, you know.
Take
You
the
get a
masa.
little bobby pin and just bend it, and you catch a damn tarp with it. But it was masa, you know, flour tortillas actually.
Oh yeah. I
What are
fished like that
those?
before, man. I
What's
fished
that?
like
Yeah,
that
I know
before.
what
It's
that
crazy.
Yeah, and people
Yeah.
don't believe on that, but that's what we used to use.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
don't take gordito friends, because then
No.
you end up with no bait.
No,
Hey, where's the masa, bro? I don't know, bro. It's gone.
Yeah. So one thing that you guys both said that in your introduction that really stood out to me, and it resonates with me too, because it's the same way. Is like we grew up with like family members like introducing us as kids, right?
Yeah.
And so there's something really like, and for me personally, like that's one of the greatest things about fishing is like, granted I enjoy being out there, but man, I had so many good times like growing up as a kid and like with all my cousins and tios like that. So you guys said you guys started off with your family members at young ages too,
Yeah.
right?
And basically you got canals, you know.
Yeah.
Once you got to know the bay, it's a whole different story.
Yeah,
you know?
it's another ballgame.
Bass fishing is one thing, and saltwater fishing is a whole
Two
different
different
story.
worlds,
and the
man.
game the game itself is different, right? But like if you can kind of discount it all the way, bring it all the way back to that common thing, and it doesn't matter if you're fishing in a canal or in the river or
They're all
in freshwater.
predators.
Yeah, well, they're all predators.
Or
but,
with
We're
pan.
all hungry.
but you're out there enjoying yourself, right? You're out there with your family, with your friends, and those are the type of memories that we get into. And I think a lot of fishermen like that, they start with that. So
I think that's a big reason that that it's awesome that we're doing this, because I think a lot of people forget that. They forget that fishing is about going out there and just fishing, and having fun. And
It's
you know.
funny because sometimes I'll get customers. Are we gonna get our limit? We're gonna try, but if we can't get our limit, I mean, we'll just go out there and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Go have
Yeah.
fun. I say because you have the mentality, I want to catch my limit. You just started wrong. Just go
Learning
out there and,
experience.
just go enjoy yourself, and we can get you in the fish. I'll get you in the fish, and we can't. It is what it is.
yeah, it's that cliche, right? A day on the water is better than a day in the office, right?
Well, that's what
Yes,
they
sir.
say, but you gotta turn it sometimes around.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
I'm out there
your
too.
office is the water, so that's like
Turn
shit, I
that one
didn't-
around.
a little bit of both. So really today's topic is really just sharing some stories, things that stood out for specifically you guys. We each have some specific stories here that we remember, but I'm gonna start off with Smiley here because I know Smiley had the big Smiley had a story that actually went pretty viral. Like it had millions of views on it,
Yeah, it
and so I think you know what I'm talking about.
Is it the 212 rig by any chance?
Nah.
Which
No.
one?
Oh, so Smiley
You
has
talking about the raccoon story?
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
Oh man.
Like, all I want to know is, did you eat it?
No, I think I'm
Oh
sure.
man.
No, but did you drop the raccoon off over there?
No, I didn't. Hey, anybody knows is want to get a damn wild raccoon, you know that sucker's going to get you.
Yeah.
You know?
It was a joke.
No, people, of course, there's tame raccoons, but anything else. But this one day we're out there and we're running and skidding water, and the tide had been high for about 3 days, and all of a sudden, in like one day to the next, the bay was dry. So I'm assuming that this raccoon came from the other side from the island looking for fish, because that's what they do. You know, they go along the edge looking for anything.
He was
to eat.
scouting. He was
He was
scouting.
scouting,
He
yeah.
was scouting.
He was burning the shoreline.
Yeah, he put it in there, and all of a sudden, you know,
I bet you he's got a TRP.
no, he didn't.
That's all.
No, and it's funny because we're out there looking for fish, and the water had come back up. You know, from one day to another. So I'm thinking this little guy got trapped out there. I mean, because he walked. I'm assuming he must have walked over 5 miles.
Damn.
oh wow,
And you know, and that guy when we were out there looked like a little bobber. You know, what the hell
Nobody's-
is that? Yeah, it looked like a little bobber. You know, and check that out. It was a damn raccoon. And then of course we got him on the boat, and then he's trying to bite us after we got on the thing. I didn't put that. The video went off. I said,
Hey, calm down.
Yes, and everybody was with me. Was on top of a tower. The top tower. I was in the seat. I was the captain chair. I said, "Don't bite me."
Oh, I mean, sucker.
Yeah, we'll take a hard left right here.
Yeah.
Go.
I think so. I saw the video. It was cool that you're calling him. Hey, come on. We're like, come on, get in the
buddy.
boat. Get in the boat.
Let me help you.
Right, and I'm like, damn, this is like
We threw him
the
a
raccoon's
tackle.
looking at you like, damn.
Oh, you threw him a taco. That's
Yeah,
how you got him on.
and after he got him, when we threw after he got in the boat, we threw him a tackle to keep him there. And I thought when we started the motor, he was gonna, book
it.
Nah, he
Did he
stayed
eat
on
the
there.
taco though?
Oh yeah.
What kind of taco was it?
That's
Right.
chorizo.
It was probably homemade.
No, stripes, buddy.
Oh, that's right.
It was fried mullet.
It was a generic raccoon then.
You know, and that thing went. Matter of fact, they wanted me to go to California to go make I said, nah.
To talk about it?
Yeah,
You should have flown out there,
Damn.
man. You'd have been on
Animal
Discovery
Planet.
Channel.
That's actually Animal Planet. and I got paid for that video.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
paid for it. Some people bought it.
I'm gonna go look for raccoons
Yeah.
now.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, man.
Well, 2 weeks later, I found a damn coyote.
You didn't try to stop for that guy.
I videotaped it. I was going to be him in the back.
Yeah, he's not gonna be as friendly as a,
But,
as
you
a
know,
raccoon.
I found the weirdest things out there. The weirdest things. I'm talking 20 years ago. I was out there messing around the saucer area. And, well, you know, it's sad, but I found a dead body out there. Somebody was trying to cross.
Oh man.
You know, because the jetties are up to the you know, the East Cut, and called it in and everything. Then they say, hold on to the body. The hell I want to hold on to it. I'm telling you, he right there, you know. Get him. But there's so many things that happen out in the bay. It's unbelievable. I've been out there where I've seen guys roll over in their boat, or where they gun the boat and they fly off the boat, and that boat is just, I call it the circle of death.
So what is the circle of death? What do you mean, sir?
Back then, you got to understand, everything was cable back then. Now we got bar steering. Hydraulic, you know. The hydraulic brakes, if it breaks going left, it's going to keep on going left, keep going left. When you have cable, the torque, when that cable breaks, that motor all of a sudden turns.
And it locks.
And it just locks, and it's a circle of death. So if you fall here and that boat's going around, and you try to get into that boat, or that boat is just hitting a wave and getting closer to you, it's going to hit you because you were not going to move fast enough.
Well, that's why they invented these lanyards, or that's where these regulations came out, right? These
Well,
kill
they just-
switches.
Yeah, they just came last year. With
Yeah.
it.
Or it became
Somebody-
required, right?
Yeah, I think it was in
Required.
September. I think
Yeah,
that's when they
September
made
1st, I
it.
think
Yeah,
it
they
was.
made it
And-
the law.
And,
Yeah.
I'll be guilty, you know. I didn't never wore it.
Yeah.
But anything can happen in a split second.
So the body that you found, that's what had happened.
No, that one was trying to cross.
that was
He was
so
trying to cross
trying
over
to
to
cross.
from the East Cut to the north, because a lot of people go through there. You know, they cross to go
Yeah,
to
to go to the
Corpus,
Corpus area, yeah.
They go through the beach.
Yeah.
And we don't have a
Man.
lot of people watching over that. You know.
So they told you to hold, like, to keep the body there until
yeah,
they got
just to
there?
make sure he didn't get swooped
Damn,
away
then-
more.
So you stayed there with them.
I
and-
stayed. I
Damn,
stayed,
man.
but I didn't stick around.
Shit. How long ago was this?
Ooh, about 20-some years already.
Oh, damn, man.
So I mean, I've been in the water for
That's crazy.
quite a long
Yeah.
time. But
Never seen it.
That's a story right there, yeah.
I've seen on Facebook they're looking for about 2 or 3 years ago, looking for a pontoon boat. Anybody seen a pontoon boat? It was cold. I was just out there, found a damn pontoon boat on top of land. I said, anybody? And I put it on Facebook. Hey, you're looking for a pontoon boat? Right here.
Out there.
Yeah.
I've never seen a pontoon boat.
Oh, I got it.
Now towards Isabel, yeah.
You were in Conroe. You've seen flat.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about down here.
That pontoon boat
like a
floated from
spaceship.
the island all the way to Arroyo City.
Damn.
So
Oh, okay, so that makes sense.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it was after a storm. You know, I like to go after a storm happens. I like
to see what
the
you
heck's-
find?
Yeah, what I find out there.
Bodies,
Raccoons.
Coyotes. He's gonna find a
But I did tell
pontoon
him,
with
you better bring 2 or 3 boats.
a pontoon with a dead body and a raccoon on it,
Or the coyote.
or the coyote.
And the
eating
coyote's
dead-
pushing the boat.
Yeah.
Look, here, and this is not all BS. So I'm trying to tell you, 2 years ago, I got a friend's boat, and I borrowed it. And that thing did about 60 miles an hour. So I have a customer, and we're driving, taking the customer driving. You know, I see a plane. You know, it's coming up. It would go up and then come down, go up and come down. First thing I said, I'm gonna get them on Facebook. Right? That sucker's gonna hit. I got it. I'm gonna be the first one on scene. So,
Hold my beer.
yeah, I got my beer. So I gunned this boat and I'm following it. And the customers were like, wow, man, that's pretty neat. What's going on? The plane was just on and off. So the guy had the door open and I'm videotaping. So I said, hey, they're looking for marker 212. I came
You got a jet.
Just
Scouting.
They're
They're like, hey, that's Smiley down there.
Yeah.
Get closer. No.
Hey, it wasn't this guy right here?
This
This guy right here looking for that spot.
This plane didn't have
Nah, he'll take
it had,
care.
it had those pontoons working, land on water.
Yeah.
Well, those boats are mostly from Mexico, so they got to land somewhere over there. Because where are you going to land a pontoon boat down here in Port Mansfield? Fuel up, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen.
It's a
Poco
drop
Loco?
off.
He went to Poco Loco?
Yeah, well, I put it on Facebook. Put that. 2 days later, I've got the
Government.
government
Yep.
and asking me all these questions.
Damn.
Did you get the TX number?
That's
I was too
bad.
busy waiting for it to
You
ring,
know.
you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, I'm curious what I post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Because why? I don't want them coming over to my house. You know, when you
Knocking
got
on your
guys
door.
there knocking on the door. And, oh,
Mr. Smiley.
No. Did you see anything come out of the
Hide the bottle. Hide the bottle. Put it
Are
away.
you the 212 man?
So, but maybe they were looking for your spots. Maybe they were wanting to know. So, where exactly did you see this plane, and where
It
were
was
you?
right there by the
And how many
beach.
fish did you?
Island.
And,
Did they? So
and
did
how-
they
They're
drop
gonna land on
something?
Green Island.
and how many fish did you have on your boat?
So when they opened the door, did they drop something out or?
You know, I plead the fifth on
You
that.
plead the fifth?
Why are you acting like the government, bro?
We got him. We got him. We got him.
But you know, I've seen that at least 2 or 3 times.
Black
And it's
shirt,
come
white
out.
beard.
Santa.
No, but there's things that happen out there in the bay that people don't realize.
That's crazy, man.
And Michael, so we'll kind of like get some of your stories. So you talked about growing up here or up in northern or North Texas, Mid Texas, kind of the Conroe area. As a kid, 8-year-old, I mean, you say going out there catching a bass on a. I mean, Lake Conroe is
It's
fish
a
pretty
giant.
hard.
Yeah, I mean, we did all. We fished Brazos River because the Brazos River was right there where we grew up. A lot of catfish. There's New Year's Creek that went right by our house. Believe it or not, there's giant catfish in there. We caught them up to 60-pound yellow cats. A lot of spotted bass.
Why yellow?
They're all yellow.
That's what I asked.
That's just the
Why
way they
yellow?
look. I didn't look at their color.
Long mustache or
And a flat head. So we actually stick a cane pole in the bank. So the creek is only like 7 or 8 yards wide. So you'd walk, in some places only this deep, and some places 6 or 8 feet deep. So we'd stick a cane pole, we'd get on our bellies and stick it in the mud, and the line would only be sticking out like that much. Like the pole would be sticking out, and here's the water line. And the line would be there, and it'd be like 200-pound braid and like a number 8 stainless with a perch. So we'd set them all out in the afternoon, and we'd come check them at night, and hell, we'd catch. Sometimes you don't catch anything,
And
just like anything.
so who's we? Like it's like
Me, my uncle, my cousins, we did all that. So we'd catch like a 15-pound yellow cat's a great fish, a great eating. So we did that. We'd walk the creeks, do that. We fished the Brazos River with jug lines, but not like your typical
that
jug
sounds
line.
like gar
We go
gar
gar
fishing.
fishing.
with jugs.
So we'd
Yeah.
go to
Out
like
there?
Somerville, and we'd catch these big-ass carp and buffalo with strawberry soda water and cornflakes. Y'all ever done that?
strawberry soda water.
So you take cornflakes, you put them in a box, right?
Well, we
Or
know
a
what
bowl.
cornflakes are, but we put sugar on them and a lot of
Oh yeah,
bananas.
they like them too. So I put them all in there, pour a little bit of strawberry soda water
Oh,
in there. And mix 'em up.
now we're getting the secret. Now,
Right.
Yeah, no, it's easy. So I mean, you're catching up with trash fish. So you put strawberry soda water into where it starts getting thick. You mix it up, and you let it sit overnight. So then it get all globbed up, and you take little pieces like that, and you put it on a treble hook and throw it on the bottom, and you go to Lake Somerville or wherever has, like Conroe has them. Any big lake has a bunch of carp. You go out there and you put 5 or 6 lines out. You tight line, catch 10 of them or so. They could be from this big to whatever. You know, you'd keep them. You cut them into chunks like this, like steaks, right? And so we'd have a big old shark hook and go into a big steel leader leading up to a PVC pipe that the leader went through, and then a little hook that went there, and we dog latch it to a Clorox jug, right? So you drive down the sandbar in a boat.
We got a lot of animals involved in this.
Oh, it's all-
I'm already- I'm lost
They can't
already.
break your line.
So did you catch something?
They can't break your line. If you have it on a throw line, those 150-pound guards rip your ass up, right? So what we do is we use the meat as the weight. So we drive down the sandbar in the afternoon, and we pitch that so it would have about that much length, right? And the bait would be down here with that big shark hook, and you just throw it and you just let it sit in the water, and the meat would be the weight. The jug line sitting there. So 4 or 5 hours later, 10 hours later, you drive down where you let your jugs out, and the fish would just swim up there and eat it at night. He just swallowed.
He wouldn't move.
No, he'd swim off.
Yeah.
You just drive, look for your jug lines. Oh, there's one. And you go there and you latch up to them, and they're so freaking, they're gut hooked.
Oh.
They don't really want to fight
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So you just latch onto that dog latch that I talked about earlier,
Yeah.
that hook. You just pull them up, and they kind of don't want to fight. Like you see all that stuff with those alligators over there on Discovery Channel. It's all BS, dude. Those gators don't want to fight either. They shoot them in the head. All that splashing around. So we just pull that old gar up, caught them up to 160 pounds, and pull up, and they kind of look at you, and just pop, shoot them in the head with a pistol.
Boom.
Boom.
She's
Boom.
And then what? What
Hey.
happens after that? So
Oh,
what-
so you take them home, you better clean them with an axe, my friend.
So-
Oh,
You don't get the fillet knife out.
Nah, hell no.
You put that sucker down, when you hit them, there's sparks flying.
You can't get that bubble.
Shit.
That bubble knife ain't gonna work.
No.
Oh,
man.
yeah, no.
No.
No,
You're
cut
gonna
the
need
20
Bubba
of
to
them.
help you get that tit
No,
clean.
we put that sucker, and I used to see my dad do it because I was a kid. I was 12, 13. Then he'd start making me do it, of course. Get your ass over here, son. But anyway, so we'd chop that sucker, and we'd open that sucker up, and then you just fillet. Then once you had it open, you could fillet it off that shell.
Don't tell me you ate guard.
Dude, oh, are you kidding me?
What's wrong with
It's
this?
silly, man. To me, he's like, hey, game words, you're not supposed to hear that.
I believe you're very silly, but not eating it.
Oh, we eat the hell out of little guard chunks. They're awesome.
After
They're
so
great.
many years, you don't know this about Michael.
No, I don't.
So-
That's what we
I
grew
think
up doing.
Smiley says we can't be friends anymore.
Hey, the best thing is, so you go there, right, and you drive, and it's not always that easy. Like, oh, we can catch shit, or like there'd be a drift. Like, okay, so in the Brazos, there's trees that fall off the banks all the time, right, and they just kind of wash up somewhere. So you're in shallow. So if some like blue cat, or usually it wasn't, or something like a raccoon would grab it and pull it off it, or something would pull it off into the drift, and then it'd get all hung up in there, and it's chocolate milk water. This ain't pretty water like South Padre. And so my dad or my grandpa or whoever's in the boat with us would go, well, get your ass in there. And we don't want to lose a rig. I'm like, so it's not very deep. It's probably about this deep when they get hung
that's
up.
deep enough for
that's
Smiley.
you, bro. It's up here,
So
bro.
what you do?
Oh shit,
You're
right?
like, damn, man, I don't want to go down in there. All you can think about is just like this big
gonna bite
giant
you.
snapping turtle just sitting there chomping on that shit. And you stick your hand down there because you have to go under the water. You're
Was-
like, man, you're following the leader. You can't
that's
see anything.
and that's how noodling was invented.
It-
Kind of like
it's
that. So I'm going down. I'm like, man, I can feel the hook. I'm like, man, I'm glad ain't a turtle down there. You can just picture. You're like, man, I'm 12 years, 13 years old. You're like, man, I'm in high school. I ain't got the 3 fingers. You just chomp your shit off.
Man. So
But
let
yeah.
me ask you a question.
So
Was
you
the
get your
water
rig back.
chocolatey before or after you got in the water?
Yeah.
It was a little bit
A little bit of
more,
both.
a little bit more afterwards.
Right. So it's still, in the summertime, you get visibility like that. But still, you're scared shitless as a kid because you just think that there's going to be something down there. Just bite
Remember
your hand
last year
off.
when I took you to No Man's Land, I said, hey, there's some reds tailing around here.
Yeah. And what did I
they
see?
came out. and
Yeah.
did it
Yeah, there was something that had teeth.
Something had
Hell, it
teeth.
was. And actually,
It wasn't
there's a
Smiley.
river every now and then. At the river, there'll be an alligator to go over there, and I've heard of them grabbing that gar bait and like running down the sandbars
Damn, man.
while they're yeah, it's crazy stories. So that's what I grew up doing, and then just kind of transitioned into fishing, saltwater, and
Well, you don't see no sparks coming out, right? When you're going to clean the fish?
no, now I don't know.
Now he
Depends
uses
what
the
you
fillet
do.
knife.
I mean, but yeah, no sparks, man. So I've just been fishing
But
and just having a good
it's
time
the
with a lot of
truth.
guys and
And
learning
you get
from
a
the
machete
best.
On the gar.
Yeah.
You hit it.
Oh, there's no
It'll
doubt.
come out.
No, y'all can
And you can cut
test
yourself,
them.
literally, too. You know,
Like
They will
It's
spark
sharp
at night
when-
when you hit
when
them
you-
with an axe.
My dad used to get the machete with a hammer, and he'd go start from the head and
Mhm.
work his way down. And then, like you said, once it's open from the top,
Then
he
you
would
can
go and fillet.
And
It's
you know what
beautiful meat.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Oh
meat.
yeah,
You know
that's
what
cool.
the secret is to cleaning a gar?
not
Is
clean.
you
Don't catch one.
I mean, I got videos of that stuff. A lot of people make the mistake where they let's say this is a gar. and
Damn,
it's
that's a
got
little
it's got-
gar.
That's a lot. That's a baby
That's
gar.
right. You gotta release that, man.
But they got the fin right here, and everybody tends to get the fin right here and start cutting from there, going this way.
Now you start at the head, my friend. That's
No.
where I start.
No.
My dad would
Don't
start
tell
at
me
the
how to
head.
clean a gar. Kill
It takes me 10 minutes
Well,
to clean one.
How do you how do you clean raccoons?
I'm
I don't
curious.
got no
Smiley went from not knowing anything about gars to
No,
now.
oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Gars.
Well, he invented it.
What I see people make the mistake is they start from right here. You go down there, and if the tail's about that wide, go about 3 inches down. Start from the tail, literally the tail, and just start chopping. And you'll go past that, and you're gonna go all the way. Once you get to the head, you don't need a machete. Once you get to that head right here, where the gills are, you just put a knife because the scales are going this way. You just shove it in there, open, and then you just start opening.
Then you got
it
your
up.
loins
Yeah.
right there. That makes sense.
And when you have problems, just right here where the other two fins are, right here, just cut around that.
Yeah.
And it's simple. I mean, I gar, I catch one.
Hey,
sometimes
don't
I
think
call
you're
my
going to
wife,
get a
boom.
gar cleaning lesson on this video. That's all I want to know.
We got
So-
pictures,
so-
we got video. you
So
know?
the story, like really, the moral of the story is that gar hunting. Is
Yeah, gar hunting.
It's
been
fun.
a-
It's fun, but you gotta be ready.
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
you
what
gotta
we,
be
that's
ready.
what we
But
did
see,
growing up.
he could afford a gun. I used to take a hammer.
Oh, that was
Mexican. We took a hammer.
With a
We took
nail.
man. That's all we had.
with the nail.
Yeah, with a nail.
With a nail. He'd make the noise. Pow, pow, pow.
I heard it's against the law to shoot a gar.
Hell, I don't know. I mean, they've been
You
trying.
can-
I
you
don't know.
I don't know, but
You
okay,
can-
let's change the story, guys.
No, I'm saying in the sense of if that's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. I take a bat or I take a hammer or a rod holder that I have, off my boat that flew off. I'll hold it.
My grandpa shot himself in the leg trying to shoot a
Oh,
yellow cat.
shit.
Oh,
A
yeah,
yellow
he went to the
cat.
hospital. It's a true story, man. True story. He had a 38-40 caliber. Y'all can look it up. He had a 6-shooter, and that was the New Year's Creek. We'd stick the poles in, and he was down there. I wasn't there at the time, but there was this guy that with him. They drove a tractor down there to check their lines. As ridiculous as that sounds. So they go down there, and it was like a 20-pounder, and so he didn't want to lift it up the bank. He didn't have a dip net. Hell, he didn't have a dip net.
What's a dip net?
I don't know. That's what so he was over there. And he
They
was
wasn't a
freaking 30.
tractor. Yeah, they don't have a
So
dip
he
net.
slipped in the mud on that steep bank and slipped, and when he did,
Boom.
he shot went straight through his calf. And it didn't hit bones; it just went straight through the calf.
Still a bad day.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But they got the fish. But
We're good
yeah,
to
so
go.
there's all kind of stories.
So,
Dude,
yeah.
these stories are never ending, and that's all freshwater. Hell, I don't even want to start with saltwater.
Well, that's where we're going. Then we're kind of making that transition. There, we're going to get
Damn,
try to
Hey.
cover peel the onion.
Gars live in salt water too. I've seen it. They're in Peyton's
Well, you
Bay.
kinda-
they're
I
in
saw one in
Rattlesnake.
Airport Cove one time, dude. She was so
They-
freaking
They
terrible.
They adopt.
She was lost.
Yeah.
They adopt to it. Of course, if there's too much salt, then eventually it's going to kill over. But that's all right. It's already salty. You just pick them up. I'm going to
Big-
Yeah, so the big thing I hear about gar, and we used to catch them growing up, but my dad used to do all the cleaning. My uncle's doing that, but people talk about like preparing the meat or what I mean, so after you fillet it and after you clean it, like
Fry 'em in
what's
chunks.
just frying them in chunks.
Yeah,
Little bit-
fry 'em
I
in
like
chunks.
little
Batter
pieces.
on it?
Little pieces. Yeah, batter.
I've heard like mustard and like kind of letting
My dad used to put them in milk.
milk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
he would
course,
put them
yeah.
in milk. Yeah.
Just get rid of that gamey.
What
you know,
gamey?
Or whatever.
See,
Get rid of
you
that.
guys, here's the deal.
Okay. This
There's
is
a difference between gamey gar and saltwater and freshwater gar. Those do not taste gamey.
None of the gar tastes gamey to me.
No, no.
Well-
They're
The
all
ones that
good
have
to
been
me.
in like a
a lake or something.
like a lake
yeah,
where
mud
the
pie-
water
yeah,
doesn't
for
really-
sure.
It has different.
Yeah, there's a different flavor to
Sure.
it. You can tell right away. And the best ones that I like to eat are between 4 to 5 feet. Anything above 6 feet, I mean,
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
like looking at an old lady and looking at a 20-year-old lady. You know? It is what it is. Thank God my wife's not here.
yeah. I don't see it
Actually,
anyways.
she's right there.
Oh, where? I didn't see her. I thought she left.
And
But yeah, it does make a difference. And I mean, they like redfish. You can't sell it. If you catch it, you're not supposed to sell it.
Sure, of course not.
But you go to at the island, there's places they sell redfish, but there's farm raised.
Or commercial caught in
Redfish, yeah.
Louisiana.
It's farm raised redfish. It
Nice.
doesn't taste the same.
Yeah,
No.
no,
Of
it's
course
just,
not.
It doesn't.
even shrimp, you can tell
Oh, yeah.
right away when it's a
That-
farm
that-
raised.
That shrimp farm that used to be there in Arroyo City, it was cheap, but there was no flavor to it. People would look at it, oh, it's a shrimp. There was no
Big
flavor
one,
to
dude.
it. Yeah. And I just found out the other day, my wife got me some shrimp off the Gulf. I said, well, I'm going to cook some before she gets home, right?
Was it good as Tortugas?
I made the mistake. I didn't know you're supposed to let it sit in the water for 24 hours to get that
What?
salt out.
I didn't know that either.
Off the Gulf. If you get it off the Gulf, it's salty.
Like fresh off the
I
boat,
mean,
like what?
off the Gulf, like he was just kicking. You know, if you cook it, it is salty.
Really?
It is nasty.
Well, I like salt.
salty. Yeah, but I want to add to it. You know,
Like salt on salt. I put
Well, you know, you just said you like the gar because it has salt, and you're like, that's good to go.
Well, yeah,
See,
but that's
yeah,
in
exactly.
between fresh water.
Oh, that's
fresh
true.
water.
It's a bracket
This is
system.
back there. I mean, it's salty,
Really.
and I didn't know that you put it in the water, let it. You put it in the refrigerator, let it sit for 24 hours, and it absorbs the salt out, and it does make it. I'm like, wow.
Damn.
Another tip, man.
Another
Another
But,
tip.
tip.
but that's what I get for being greedy, no?
Before she gets her, before
I,
she gets her.
I think it was a test and you failed.
That
I
reminds me.
failed that test on it.
That reminds me of a little story of my dad. Every time he'd barbecue, he'd make chicken and everything. He would not make the fajitas till everybody ate the chicken.
Yeah. 'Cause when
And
I
then
make the
he'd
good
bust out the
fajitas,
fajitas and
let
then
it be
that's
full.
when
I
he-
do
yeah.
the same thing too, buddy.
Man, I was
That
like,
ain't changed.
that ain't changed. I was like, man, so I would wait. I kind of learned, and I'd wait and get a piece of chicken here and there, and then I'd be like, I know he's got some fajitas
Yeah.
somewhere.
We do that.
So
We
both
still
of you
do it.
guys have like, I mean, years and years and lots of experience, a lot of different stories out here. So if there's like one thing that stands to mind, like just like sticks out, like maybe the biggest fish you've ever caught, or like the scariest, the time you were gonna die, or something like that.
That's all.
You want to go first? I can tell you.
You
one.
go. I'm taking
I don't
one.
have anything exciting, but I can
Me
tell
either.
you what makes a difference. And I'll tell you right now, I fished with some very good guys, and everybody is pretty good fishermen. Somebody taught them that.
Yes.
Everybody, nobody
We
did
all
it
learn
on
from
their
somebody.
own. But I can tell you right now, I'll tell you a story. This is a great story, and it'll stick with me the rest of my life till I die. I'm sitting there, I'm fishing a redfish tournament. It's a small one. It's me and Billy Howell, phenomenal fisherman out of Galveston. Great fisherman. And we're fishing. This is years ago. I'm still very green to the saltwater. I think I'm good, but terrible.
No, you're still
right?
green.
No, yeah. I'm like red now, kind of between. But yeah, so I'm super green. I'm like, man, Billy, you want to fish this tournament? Yeah. So we pull up. I'm like on a few fish, right? Rolling up to Galveston. Go up to one of my spots, bam, catch a 7.5, which ain't that good in Galveston, folks. I'll just tell you right now. It's pretty good, but not that good. I'm like, all right, well, we got one. Now we need a good one. We're driving around, we're fishing, we ain't catching much. Pull up this one spot. I'm like, man, I've caught a 9 here. I've caught some 8s here. Let's see if they're on this drop-off. We're fishing a drop-off. I'm not paying attention to the flats on my left. There's an oyster over there. And Billy's over there. And he's got some kind of little thing that's like, looks like a cigarette, but it don't have a filter on it. He's like, he has it in his mouth. He's like kind of smoking it. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, this mullet just jumps up and goes, ding, 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 and does a U pattern. Doesn't go like that. And he goes, hey, pull over there with your trolling motor. And I'm like, dude, I ain't never caught nothing on that. Flaps, nothing there. There's no structures. A little bit of shell, but not much there. He goes, no, pull over there. This guy's a great fisherman. So I go, all right. I pull up and he goes, all right, stop. And he fires a chicken of the sea, 4-inch tail in there. Boom, bows up. I'm like, there's no freaking way. Catches like a 7-pounder. Not a great fish, but a good fish. And I totally would have missed that. He's like, do you see that bait up there doing what it was supposed to do? I'm like, no, all mullet jumped. He's like, no, it did what it was supposed to do. And I was like, man, that's pretty deep right there. So he catches it. We go in, we get like a check, but it ain't much. But he said, man, you got to pay attention to the bait. He said, man, if all these guys would just pay attention to bait instead of just running all over the place, running spots and racing to spots, because they'd be a lot better fishermen. And as set with me for, I don't know, that was 8-10 years ago. If you pay attention to bait, you'll find fish.
So
Catch fish in different places that you never caught them before.
That's what.
So the last deal, I'll tell what happened. 2 years ago, I'm running down, and this is all Billy Howell, Mike LaRue type deal. Those guys are the best bait readers I've ever seen in my life. I fished with them a bunch. So we go, and I'm running. I fish 2 or 3 spots in Freeport, and it's dirty water, intercoastal. Boom, catch nothing. These guys with me, they never catch anything. They're like, fish once a year. Like, dude, I thought you were good down here. I'm like, dude, I can't catch them all the time. Nobody catches them all the time. So I'm like, let me go to this little spot. So I go to this little spot. It's a little drop off. You catch 2 or 3 fish there sometime, 3 max, maybe none, but usually there's a fish on this drop off right off the intercoastal. Go in there, nothing. I'm like, damn, dude, there's nothing going on in my 3 spots in this little small area because they had a beach house close. So I'm like, all right, we're going to go to this back lake and we're going to fish this back lake and throw topwaters. Well, I turn around from that spot and I'm running, and I look to my right, and I've never fished that flat. Never in my life. It looks like shit, terrible. But there's scattered shell there just a little bit. I knew that. And there's bait. And it's doing the thing that Billy's talking about. Ding, ding, ding. As I'm driving my boat, I go, I'm going to flip around there. So I pull around, tell these guys, hold on. And we're all throwing popping corks and gulp, dude. I'm just telling you right now, because it's dirty water, you ain't going to catch them on tails as good. There's no better way to catch them in dirty water.
that's another tip for you guys watching.
I'm just telling you, man. I'm going to be very honest with you. I ain't never going to tell you the best way to catch them is on my lures. Never tell you that. I'll tell you this is what we did. We flipped around, flipped it sideways. As I throw y'all's corks out there. Boom, they throw their corks out there. We had 9 redfish. There's 3 guys in the boat. Had 9 redfish in the boat in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Boom, went home.
Yeah.
Done.
Damn.
So
Pay attention to the bait.
So again,
100%.
it's it's a U shape or
If they ever jump straight like that, it's not much. But if they ever do this, if they jump once and then turn and then turn,
You're getting away.
Yeah.
you bet there's something pushing that fit. There's something pushing those mullet. It may be black drum. It's something that's like making them scared. It's not crashing. They're not getting
I
crushed.
do that every Friday.
You chase bait?
No, my wife's chasing.
jumped.
And I'm jumping left.
Well, anyway, I'm not saying the best, but those guys taught me something, and I'm telling you right now, I use that knowledge to make a successful day right before the sun went down, and we caught them. And if I wouldn't have paid attention when
You'd
you're
have missed
driving, you wouldn't have caught them.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Like a lot of people, or not a problem, it's the reality is a lot of people, you have your spots, right? And you want to race to your spots and you want to get
exactly.
there
And
as
you'll
fast
miss
as you
the fish
can.
sometimes.
And yeah,
By going
you
there.
become very tunnel vision and you don't see, everything that's going
Wind
around you.
direction, tide.
Yeah, and even if you see it, you don't understand to like stop and like, hey, this is a pattern that's not normal.
Yeah.
Let me investigate this.
They
You-
weren't getting crashed, but I'm gonna tell you right now, they were doing what they're supposed to do. And once you learn that, it'll help you.
I just heard that last year at the Rockport Expo. There was I wish I remember who said it. I don't know if it was Tilly or who it was. They said that if you have a fish, if you have a mullet that's swimming relaxed, and they just have that nice little.
It's just
nothing
chilling,
chasing
just
them.
sunbathing,
Nothing
yeah.
chasing them.
If they do the
but-
U,
Yeah, you're right.
All right, I'm gonna be
Nice.
looking out for you.
Nah, me too,
I'm
man.
gonna look for mullet now.
I'm gonna look for mullet and throw mullet in the mouth.
So that's a good tip, man.
no, that's just from the guys that have done it for years.
You
They
gotta follow
told me
the
that,
bait.
and I didn't believe it, but I've seen it too many times now, and it's just something I'd like to pass on to y'all guys. It works. I'm not saying you're gonna catch them every time, but if you see it, you better go investigate because you might
Yeah.
catch them.
And you said you were throwing gope, right? Gope on the
That
cork?
day, yeah, because it's dirty water in Freeport Intercoastal. Man, the visibility is like 2 inches. I mean, if it's clean and you're wading a flat and bathing, of course you're going to throw, some type of tail that's natural.
And I've never fished there. I've been invited.
Well, you know
but
what I mean,
I've never
though.
gone there. One day I'll go.
It's just like me. I'll tell you, if I catch them on top water, crankbaits, tails, there's no reason why. It's just about helping people make the right decision.
Yeah.
Well, and that's how you learn, by listening to other people on a conference like this conference we're having right now. Some people are, hey, I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it makes, and the funny thing is now they're building all these new boats. 350s,
Fast.
400.
Fast.
Dude, I get a kick out of that. I'll be out there and I'm doing, and I just got my boat
Slow is
blade
better.
and I'm watching to see the fish. Yeah, I've seen guys blow by me, school of reds, and I just thank you. I
Yep,
go
they're
right back
going.
over there.
Yep, that's right.
All you did was let me know where they're at, and that's what happens. Sometimes I have my mind say I'm gonna go from A to B because I know there's fish over there.
Yeah.
And right in between A and B, the fish are right there. Why
Yeah.
am I gonna go that far? I'll stop right here.
Yep.
And
And check it
see
out,
what
yeah,
you pick
yeah.
and check it out.
But you
That's
got
the
to be
best
aware of what's
fisherman.
going on,
Yes.
right? You got to.
You
They
have
can
to be aware.
adapt to the conditions and see what's going on around them. If you're piling, if you're just okay, we've caught them on this spoil island. I've done this with guys before. It just drives me insane. We go down spoil island. We're like, all right, let's catch them. Here's bait, and we're fishing, and they're just freaking plowing through.
Yeah.
And they're
All
off
the fish.
bait.
They're
I'm
scaring
like,
the fish off.
Well, not even that. They're just not even on the bait. I'm like, dude, the bait's up here on the spoil island.
Yeah.
What are y'all doing? They're firing. I'm like, come on, man.
I've been out there.
Pay attention to what's around you.
You've been out there waiting when you see the piggy perch jump, and you know you're going to catch that direction. You see piggy perch jump on this side. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
They're all here.
no-brainer.
Because something's after them.
It might be
I'll
2 or
cast
3
it,
fish,
yeah.
but if you catch one, that could be the difference maker
Sure.
in the tournament.
Yeah.
And that's what the good guys don't know exactly where to go, but if you put them around them,
You know what to look for.
they will catch them.
Oh, that's why they do
They
so
ain't
well.
gonna walk
Like-
through them. They'll
like,
catch them.
That's why these tournaments are. I mean, these guys are good because you take them out of their environment. I mean, these big tournaments are all
Yes.
along the coast, right?
Absolutely.
And so yeah, you may say, well, I know Port Mansfield or Arroyo, I know these
Yeah,
places
that's
down
my
here,
home
but you
waters,
put me in
right.
Galveston, like shit, I don't know these things, right? But like what you said, you're looking for the signs, right?
They just know.
But
Yeah,
you have
just-
guys that grew up in Port Mansfield and they fish these big tournaments and they don't bring anything back.
Well, they
know?
lose to the guys that are.
You know?
A lot of people think just because you're a fishing guide, they think you're going to be on the fish.
They think you're a
No.
wizard. It
A
doesn't work
guide
that
is just a
way.
license
Looks
to
like a
charge.
wizard.
It's just
Yeah,
the beard. It's just the
I,
beard.
I like that. I like that. A guide
It's like
is just a
something off the
license to
surface.
charge. Yeah.
That's all it is. Doesn't mean I'm going to find a fish, but I have a license to charge you. That's all it is.
License to
Doesn't know that
kill.
I'm a fish. Yeah, license to kill.
Kill fish.
But there's one tournament fisherman that I talk to all the time, and he tells me, because I write things down, Fabian, he goes, because I'll go out there and I see certain conditions, and I'm on these fish, and I write down temperatures, I write down the wind and so forth.
Smart.
Because if I see that condition, okay, it's this temperature, this wind. now I know what to look for in color and
Well-
so forth. I'm
Well,
like,
they'll return back to that spot a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I burned this one spot in Rockport. We'll burn it. And I've seen those fish that are there for years. And they'll pull off on a low tide and do something. And on a high tide, they'll do something
Yeah.
else.
It's patterns. Yeah.
I mean, they're there every
That's why
year.
I
So
videotape
I don't
every year.
I don't believe
Every
him.
day.
I need you to I need to fact check you. You need some GPS coordinates. To maybe
Just get in the boat and go ride.
Sounds
I'll
like-
show you.
That's it. It's real right. You know, and it's funny you say that. I have customers that have their own boats. They want to know where I go. I don't have them. I do not have a problem. I really don't. I mean, they want to learn where I go, and then they find out where I really go, and the first thing they say,
I drive by
get in
here all the time.
Yeah, I fish
get
here all the
in
time.
here, no, I'm not gonna come up here.
There's a difference in
You
catching
know,
them and driving by them.
I've seen the problem. I've seen other fishing guides that there can be a fish right there for a whole week, and they'll go fish that area for a whole week, and all you do is burn that hole.
Yeah.
What I do, I take a customer. We caught so much fish. I go and let's go look for another spot. You know, and let's go for another spot, and you just take them. If you can pick up 1 or 2 or 3 fish, you're doing awesome. But if you burn that hole for the next customer,
That's
gonna
it.
come the next day, it's gone.
I mean, you're keeping your business
Yes,
alive because
exactly.
I mean, you're
If you only have 1 hole for the whole year,
You're not much of a fisherman in
yeah,
the first place.
I burn. Sometimes I've burned 42 gallons in one day
Oh,
just to. I want to get my customer on fish.
Yeah.
You know, and there's days, man, you can see the fish and they don't want to
Yeah.
bite.
yeah, but also like I mean, if someone goes out on a charter, like you're going out there to enjoy yourself too, right? And
Yeah,
so like
sure,
when you're burning this gas, like it gives them a chance to sit down, drink a beer, relax. A
Oh,
little
yeah, they
bit,
like
that.
it's like,
Listen to music.
Listen-
That's how I
Yeah.
know Smiley's
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Can you hear? Smiley's over there, bro.
Bells.
I've never fished with Smiley, but I know where he's at just by the music. It's like,
I want you
Smiley's
to
over
know, I just added another amp and 4 more speakers. in the
there. Damn,
back.
man.
another.
And they're gonna be like, "How'd you get so good?"
Where
I
you gonna
just,
put those at?
it's my vision.
I'm
No, it's my
ready.
hearing.
I'm getting ready for the Shell Sport tournament.
No,
Are you ready?
Of course I'm ready.
We're gonna see who's
You know how-
whose boat is louder.
You know how you
Yes,
said
there you go.
to keep an eye out on the pattern of the mullet, how they're jumping.
He's probably gonna
I'm,
scare him.
no, I'm gonna keep an ear out to hear if I can hear him where he's at and kind of go through that area.
There's where the mother
Well, he's,
jumps.
he's part of the environment. He's
Yeah.
part of what's going on
People
out there.
tell me, hey, we don't see you, but we can
I
hear
hear you, yeah,
You
man.
know?
I've been out fishing where I can literally we're fishing and we're like,
Hey, but how does it
That's
sound?
Smiley.
Clear or not?
it sounds good, man.
Yeah, that's all I know,
Damn,
man.
man, I need another amp.
Yeah, and maybe
next year-
five more speakers.
So when you're passing by, we hear you and smell raccoon, so we know it's you.
That's it. I'm coming right through.
So we know it's you.
I'll throw a crawdad out there. I'm coming.
Here's a taco, guys. Yeah,
But
man. So
no, I mean, it's going out fishing. It's go out there and enjoy yourself.
Yep.
I mean, basically, go. Yes, you want to take fish home, but just go out there and relax and have a good time. I take a lot of kids that have never done it, and sometimes you have to. What I've seen, and since I've become a fishing guide, people compete that this guy brought more fish, or this guy brought more fish,
Oh,
this
yeah,
guy
of
brought
course.
this. You know
Sure.
what? If you put yourself in that bracket, that I'm gonna beat you catching more fish, or I'll beat him, bro. No, that's a bad mentality.
Doing
I
it
go
wrong.
out there and have my customers. We didn't catch them today. Come back, another day. But we do our best. Don't compete with your own self because you'll kill yourself.
Yeah.
You'll stress out.
Right.
And if I did that, no. But if you watch my videos, I'm always laughing, and having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fish or no fish, I've gotten more likes on an empty ice chest
Yeah.
than I had.
Well, because you're being real about it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do.
Because it's a highlight reel on Facebook. Let me tell you, all the guys, nobody catches them every time. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
no.
that right now.
No, you don't.
I don't care who you are.
I'm gonna
You're gonna blank
so
sometimes.
so I'm gonna give
I don't
you
catch
a,
him any of the time, so I don't.
I'm gonna give you a non-pro tip. What I do is I take pictures of my fish. I don't post them all. So if I go the next time, I don't catch shit. I just post from the last week.
No,
That guy wears the same shirt every
When
time.
Same shirt every day.
I'm not gonna say much, but Fred Lozano. I mean, did I say that?
No names, no,
No, no,
names.
no
No
names.
names. I'm sorry. I'm
We'll
sorry,
just-
Fred.
we'll
I'm sorry,
just-
Fred.
Yeah, we'll just call him Fred.
No,
The guy who owns the tackle box.
I'm just make up a guy. Just,
we love him.
I mean,
He's a good hell of
yeah,
a
he's
guy.
a good guy. Even Joe. I don't like
I
to
would
take
love
Joe
Joe
too much because
Martinez.
that's it.
I don't
I'm
know
not gonna
about that
catch
guy.
anything. I'm not gonna catch anything. And the poor Joe, every time I take him, man, I have the shittiest luck. You watching the show, right, Joe?
Come on, man. What are you freaking
No,
blackball?
No, but what I'm saying is, I've seen people out there that they post. One thing that the consumer does not like is that you lie to them.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Sure,
that's
that's
one
right.
thing, and that's honestly.
But that's any business you're in, right?
Yes,
That's
correct.
anything
But
you do.
here's
Like
the-
it's
but here's the
whatever you
deal.
do.
I've seen people that say, "Hey, come on down. The fish is on fire." I've been out there. I know. I know. I'm
Yeah,
a
but a front's
fisherman.
coming in the next
Yeah,
day.
there's-
Yeah, I'll
it,
take
it
you.
doesn't happen, you know.
Yeah.
So if the customer hires you, let's say you want to hire me. Hey, this guy's been on them every day. You're gonna go, and then I catch. And you didn't catch anything.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Hey, man, there's people that save up their money. I've had young kids that have a job. They work at McDonald's or Waterbury, and they tell me, hey, it took us a month to get the money together, and we didn't catch anything. And it's tough, dude.
Yeah.
And I know what it is to make $1.
Yeah.
Sometimes I give them a break. You know what? They were good kids. I said, I'll give them I said, you know what? Just pay this much just for the fuel. The trip's on me. And they come back, but they like honesty.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
Then
I
next
mean,
time you bust them up.
yes, and they must have, they're happy now. Oh, next time,
Remember that break I gave you?
But I have a lot of repeaters. It keeps me busy because I have a lot of repeaters because they tell me, hey, man, we like it if you caught 1 or you caught 5. You always put what you caught. And every morning I post that I'm going out. So that means you guys know, or they know.
That's
I'm
a hello,
out.
my friend, all the
And,
time.
hello, my friend. That's a good one, right? That's another story.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I want to hear.
No, or the other, your other one. They call me, but not
but
today.
But you know, so at the end of the day, well, at noon, I post if I caught or not. But I'm being truthful to the consumer who was watching me. This is what it is. You have your good days, you have your bad days.
But even that, I mean, that story, you know, with those kids, it's like you're keeping the game alive in the sense that these kids are still going home with a good experience, and then they're telling their people, their friends, their family, hey,
Yes,
this guy did this for
if
me,
you're
you know.
if you're friendly with the kids, because the parents, you gotta understand, some of the parents when I take their kids out there, I've had parents where they just sit down and they're watching or have their parents showing them. It's not about them really.
Oh, of course not.
They want their son or their daughter to catch fish, you know.
Yep.
And I do the same thing. I'll go over there. As you take that one, I'll take this one, and they're there. And then you watch them competing. But it's between them,
That's
you
fun.
know, the brothers
That's awesome.
and you know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
sisters
a lot
and
of
brothers.
fun.
And I've had kids. Don't show me. I know. Okay.
All right, yeah, see, there you go.
Go back over here. Go ahead.
Yeah,
You
go
know?
ahead.
But it's good, and they love it. And some parents, they want to take their kids fishing. And sometimes I throw plastic. I love to throw plastic.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But there's people that don't know how to cast, and they want to learn how to cast. So it's baby steps.
Yeah.
That's
So,
perfect transition.
Yes,
Your
exactly.
212 rig.
The 212.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's talk
that's the
about it.
story. Well, that's the story I wanted to get into. I wanted to hear the story about how you invented the
No,
212.
I want to tell you.
Hey, didn't Frank Chamberlain?
Frank Chamberlain. I love that son of a guy. I hate him, but I love him.
Nah, we love Frank.
I didn't invent the 212 rig.
Okay.
And I want to clarify that. I did not invent it. Between 30 and 35 years ago, I was at a bar drinking alcohol.
I don't believe that.
Yes. And I was talking to an old fishing guide that he's no longer around. I was having blow-ups on the top water. Okay? And I couldn't get the damn fish. So I'm there drinking with a man. We're chit-chatting. And he says, hey, why don't you try this and this? You know, take a hook off in the back, put a trailer on it, and try it and see if it changes. 2 days later, I'm having the same problem again, blow-ups. I remembered that man, what he told me at the bar. I said, well, let me try this.
You remember it. It must have
Yeah.
not been a good night at the
You
bar.
So I did what he asked me, and you know what? It started working. So I used it for a while, and then in the last couple of years ago, I had some friends that were out there weight fishing, and I was nailing the fish. What are you doing? I was like, I got this. Hey, make me one, and I started making. Hey, you need to start selling them. Nah, it's too much trouble. That's what I thought. Honestly, it's too much trouble. But I would use them on my boat with the kids because the kids would. When you got a person that knows how to use a top water, knows how to use a top water. When you have newcomers, sometimes you have a blow up about 3 or 4 feet on you. First thing they're gonna do is swing that
Swing
thing,
it,
man.
yeah.
I've been hooked by a top water.
It's a bad day.
I was looking at a different way. And that
Boom.
guy
It's
tried to-
almost as
the
bad as
blow
getting
up.
shot in the leg in the
Yes.
cab.
Yeah, right.
But the neat thing about this top water here is that the kids that would cast it out there, even if they didn't work it, they were reeling it in. that lure in the back is the trailers
Still
were
working.
doing this, and they would catch something, and just to see the eyes or the scream. I've had one lady throw the rod in the
Oh,
freaking
shit.
water. I'm here power pulling real bad. I said, "Oh, that was going to take me in."
She thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Did you ever take her fishing again?
Yes. Unfortunately, I did. But you know what? It's helped me out a lot, and it helps a lot of people. I've seen a lot of people that gone that I see them out there fishing because I always post, we did this, we did that. Well, they've used some of these top waters, and they're doing a little bit better at fishing.
So one thing we talked about here was that the 212. We described it, but like, what is a 212? Maybe you can show us here what exactly a 212 is.
This
Here.
is an awesome color here. Look, let me open it. Yeah, I gotta put my glasses on, guys. I don't wear glasses. I'm gonna be 53 years old.
I don't think it's the glass. I think it's the
Nope.
the shallow sport, the
Yeah,
shallow
the
sport,
shallow sport drink.
the shallow sport cup.
Okay, when we started back in the day, this is a top water, and try to get it out of here.
That's a nice cover
Package?
for it. Yeah, man, it's nice.
I know. My wife wants half of it. Okay.
Now,
A lot of people, you have a lot of blow-ups on this. I mean, and you have a lot of blow-ups. And people tell me, why don't you leave the hook in the middle? Well, sometimes, our base, I'm not talking about bays up there in town. Our base, we have sometimes a lot of grass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the damn ducks we got, right? A lot of grass comes up. So once the grass gets hooked on that three-way right here, it does not perform the same. But right here, it's a different story. You got no hook. You're working this, and if you pop it fast, two things is going to happen. You're going to have a blow-up on this, and once you have a blow-up on this and you yank it a little bit, then it's going to see the lure behind.
Another thing I'll say is that top water, a lot of it's floating needle grass. That thing will kind of clear the way for that. So
Yeah,
okay.
You'll go, well, why didn't that hook
Yeah.
catch grass? Well, because that thing's kind of
just-
clearing the
yeah,
way,
just make
it
and it
fast.
just kind of works its
It's
way
like when it's
through
snowing.
it.
Yeah.
And then
They'll
exactly. They'll hit it. They'll eat that top. They'll eat that tail behind. it.
drafting.
But you got to
Yeah,
understand
it basically is
another
drafting.
thing is like when you throw a single hook. If let's say there's a trout or a redfish on this side, and you throw just the lure by itself, two things the fish is going to feel: the vibration of the water, it's something behind it is going, and it might turn depending how it is, or if you have something making a noise and say, "What the heck's going on that side?" You turn around. The fish is going to turn around to see what's going on, and it might see this and hit this, or it might see this right behind here, and says, "I'm taking this."
It's an easier
Yeah.
an easier bait.
Yeah.
It's an easier bait.
Yeah, it's like
And-
easier. They just
And the neat thing about it, your line doesn't get tangled on the wire anymore.
And that's I think that's the difference between that and say like a popping cork,
Yes.
right? Like it's
You know,
it's
the
that.
poppy corks are great. Don't get me wrong; they're
Yeah.
awesome. But you don't.
212 popping cork coming up, boy.
Well,
that thing, like when you pop it, that little thing, every time that
Yeah,
top
it
water
just
moves,
goes
that little tail
Yeah.
kind of moves, so
It
it looks
zigzags.
natural.
Yeah.
But
Instead
the-
of just hanging there.
but here's the deal: times is changing. Back then, it was all mono. There was no braided line. I think the first braided line I saw, I think it was damn spider wire.
Spider wire
That
back
sucker
in the
ate the
90s.
hell out of the
Yeah,
damn
in the
eyes.
90s.
It was making
They were
that eye,
terrible, too. It was terrible.
But see, now we got all this braided line that's so sensitive that it holds test better. It's so on the popping cork back in the day, the mono wouldn't really hook up around the wire. But now this braided that we have, I mean, it's so simple.
No
I mean,
stretch.
It flips and turns and-
and it ties up, and then you got a problem. Two things: you can unhook it, or you got to cut the braided line and retie again to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like I said, I didn't invent this. I don't know who did,
It's just a
but
good
I am the
technique.
first one to
Put
put
it in
out
the
to
market.
market.
How long
call
has
it-
it been on the market? How long ago did you put in the
I
market?
think I started last year.
Last year.
And
Yeah,
last
everybody
year's
told me
the
about it
only
last
reason
year.
because my friends told me to do
So,
it. Other than that, I really, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, I understand him on his baits before I did it, but you know what? It's worth to open it up, put the bait, close it. You don't got a robot to doing this.
We
you know?
took Lynn Roman, my girlfriend, fiance, went out. She was
Oh, she was nailing the heck out
Yeah,
of
she
it.
was pulling on it.
She was, and they were weight fishing.
So we're weight fishing. I was like, take Lynn. I was like, God dang, I
He
got to
didn't
put
wanna
Smiley in
deal
the boat.
with
I got to put Smiley in the boat by himself with my girlfriend.
Otherwise,
Yes.
good
Kind
luck.
of freaking sketchy, right? Well, they go and they catch him. I'm like,
We nail him.
he pulls up. I'm like, y'all get him. He's like, yeah, we got him. I'm like, God dang. I kind of didn't like it, in a way.
He still doesn't like it. He's like, you never put me on fish like that.
No, we catch him.
She's a great person.
No, it was fun. It
Oh,
was
They,
fun.
they were using this.
She
You and
was
her.
using that.
She was throwing a 212 rig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. And that's
Smacking
before
Yeah.
people says, why did you come up with 212? Here's the deal. Before this came up, was that the old timers, they will know there in Arroyo City, 212. As soon as you come out and you turn north, that marker right there was 212. We're talking maybe between 15 to 18 years ago.
As soon as you come out of the Y?
Yes, as soon as you come out to the Y and you go north, that was 212. If you have an old map, it tells you right there what's there. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to give it up, but it's flounder.
So good.
That's why I see Fred in his boat there.
Yeah, somebody parks there a lot. I won't say I'm not going to get there, but
He parks at 213.
At 213.
Yeah, he's at
People
213.
ask me, marker 212. I said, you know what? I go 212. Man, I've had people, and we're talking years back, and will tell me, we drove all the way from the island all the way to Port Mann. We never fought.
It's because you got to go
Yeah, you
further.
gotta keep
You gotta
going.
keep going. You'll find it.
You know, and it was just something that I didn't do it intentionally. It just, and it caught on.
Yeah, it got
For
caught
Those
on
are
really
the best
good.
stories. You can't
Yeah.
make anything
I've
up.
got people from Corpus, Florida. Hey, we found marker 2, and they send me a damn picture of
Yeah.
the marker. I'm like, damn.
I didn't
In
even. Where's
Corpus-
this at?
In Corpus or somewhere.
It's over there.
212. It's on the
there's a-
sand,
there-
but it's sand.
Yeah, it's
And
over there.
the beach on the one side or something like that, but it's 212.
I had seen a picture where somebody took a picture of like on the highway and it said 212
Yeah,
and they sent it to you like, hey, we're marking 212.
I mean, I just did it just to do it, but
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to catch on.
I've used this, man. So I've used this setup and it works.
But
You know, it works.
But 212 was something before it was a setup, right? So 212, and it sounds like you were saying that 212 was more of just
People will ask me where did I find the fish?
Yeah,
212.
exactly, and that's right.
And that's
Cut
got
on.
them from there.
And that's what I say. Like 212 means like catching fish is
Yeah.
kind of where I'm going, right? It doesn't mean like it's not a physical marker, right?
Yeah.
So anyone that's watching is looking
Yeah,
for
no,
it.
Well, I think he said it was a physical marker
used
at
to
one
be a
point.
physical
It was a physical marker.
But now
It
it's like
was.
a hashtag type, like, hey, we caught the fish, we found the fish,
It's a
we slayed
mythical
them.
place.
212, like
And
it's
I have a lot of people on Facebook that they got lucky and caught their fish, or they were happy about catching their fish, and they say, "Hey, we found marker 212."
Yeah.
And I'm even asking, "Where's 212 at?"
Where's 212 at?
Because I had a bad day, and I've had people, we know the bay, like I said, but sometimes if you're on them, and when you're not, you're not.
Yeah,
I've had
right.
people that they nailed the fish, bro, that day, and I didn't catch not one fish, and it makes you like.
Well, that's fishing.
It's fishing, man. Like, it's
Exactly.
just-
that.
called
It's
fishing.
fishing.
Everybody
Anybody
has a
that
chance.
says they caught them every day is not telling you the
Yeah,
truth.
no, I'm
But
gonna tell
that's
you the truth,
fishing.
except it's a
That's
lie, But and then that call me, well, that call me came from before I was a guide. We would see other fishing guides, and we'll come in, boom, put the fish in there, and we were walking off to. Actually, we were being jerks, man.
You?
We'll catch fish.
Hey, that's
Call
our
me.
younger day. No way.
No way, I don't believe.
Yeah,
So I'm learning a lot about Smiley bars, jerks. Like
He
I would've-
remembers
I
stuff
would've-
from the bars.
I would have never thought that.
You know,
was being a
I-
jerk about it.
Young.
I think that when he was at the bar talking to the gentleman, he didn't say this. You just made this up.
No,
like that's what
no.
you thought he said.
Oh, yeah.
He said something. I put this in the bag.
If I know this man told me about 30, 35 years ago, I still can imagine still more than other people. And there's some fishing
Someone
guys
told
that
him,
really
yeah.
use this.
Oh, they use it
But
on the
the-
upper
it's-
coast
but
too,
they
but
don't
not
wanna-
many people
it's
talk
not
about
as-
it.
it's-
They don't want to talk about
yeah,
it.
they don't want to talk about it.
But-
And I kind
You
of
can catch them over shell with that. So when you're throwing over shell,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if you can't work your regular a tail,
I've
you
got
do
more-
that over shallow shell where you usually normally get hooked
Yeah.
up.
Well,
So yeah,
That's what I use mine. I use
Yeah.
it in
Well,
a
that's
foot,
what
2
I
foot of water,
Yeah.
grassy, or
Yeah,
that's what I use
exactly.
mine.
So,
Yeah,
so I'm
exactly.
going to talk about this here. So for anyone that's watching that's not familiar with the 212, so this is like a super spook junior, right?
Uh-huh.
Like it's that size.
Yes.
It's
You can
actually
probably use it with anything.
yeah. You have it
you
out
can
there.
use
So,
it with anything. I mean,
obviously,
like
it's
that.
nice when it's packaged
The
for you
float
this way.
is
Yeah.
the main
Yeah.
thing.
what do you mean? I had to package it. What do you
No,
mean?
I know that's right. Like because you
No,
package
for
it,
like the
that's what I'm saying,
consumer,
like,
for us, like
it's
it's nice for us to get
packaged-
it.
It's
It's like-
packaged this way for you
And
already.
mind you, you can go buy a top water and do it.
Yeah, but
it's
down
cheaper to
here
buy
I would
one.
throw that one because it's not
Yes.
so loud. It's like the perfect.
Yeah,
Size
like
and
it's got like
yeah,
I
you don't
can
want to
feel
throw
like
a big she dog or a he dog.
What
out
do they
there.
cost? What are they? Not your retail. You know, what do they sell them for at shops?
Well, they sell them for $10.
$10. Yeah.
But I mean, you can make
Nothing
your
wrong
own.
with
And
that.
I've told people you can make your
So-
own. But it's like this is modified. I have it. Yeah, there's certain things.
Well,
that's
that's
ready
what
to
I'm saying.
roll.
Like this is
It's
ready to go,
yes.
like out of the package. Like this, that's
Absolutely.
kind of where it's at here. And so you got like a Spoot Junior here, and then like the leader. So you talked about working different areas. Do you change the length of this leader depending
It
on where
depends
you're
on the
at?
water, but these down here, here in the valley, our bay's not that deep.
Right.
You're up to here. That's Port Mansfield. You're up to here in wake fishing. That's Port Mansfield.
Yeah, but then
But 90% of our weights were up to.
Yeah, if you're in
Yeah,
deep
so
water, I don't think you
that's
want to
just
throw
perfect.
that as
Now,
much.
that's a
What?
16th or an 8th.
It's a 16th.
Okay,
Now, and you can change the weight.
for deeper water.
If you want, yeah, it all depends on the water. Like in winter, in summer is different. In summer, if you're out there in summer, you got a lot of picky birds, right? So that means the bait's moving faster. It's like when you're hot and it's summer and it's hot, you're moving. You're looking for shade. It's winter. You try to find where you don't get wind and you just want to be covered. And the sun comes out a little bit, you'll be right there. The neat thing about this thing, you can work it fast in summer. On winter, pop, pop, pop. The trout just come out because they're not really active. They're not really going to chase the bait right away, man. If you go right by here, they're going to bite it. But if it's over there, hey, I don't want to go all the way over there.
That's like the old way.
I've caught more flounder now in the bay. I throw it over a pocket because
Where?
It
At
sits
212?
there.
They
Damn.
sit there. I'm like, man, I've been through here years. I never caught a flounder here. I know where to go catch a flounder.
212
Here,
at 212.
No, 213.
But it does
213.
help. But it does help. And it helps a lot of people, especially the ones that are learning.
It makes
Well,
it
it
easier
moves
to
faster,
work a
does.
plastic.
Yeah.
Plastic.
For-
It makes
for-
it easier to.
For new beginners is really good. So when Fabian went with me, I put him on one of these.
Well, here's another one.
I was the one using it actually.
But you know what? Your kids will not really get in trouble with that, especially with a top water, man. I love top waters, but those, you
Those
catch one
hooks,
fish
man.
and you gotta have pliers because you try to do this number with one thing, two things. If you lose control of that fish with a hook and a fish,
Like top waters and like inexperienced people, like that's just asking
But see,
for trouble.
yeah, because they see it on. Oh man, he got it on this. No, you gotta start slowly. Once you understand, mind you, I've been doing this for years. I'm scared of a damn top water.
Yeah.
I catch that man.
Hell,
fish, man.
if you aren't scared of a top water, something wrong with you.
No.
That scares the hell out of me. I'm like, oh
scared.
my God, she's hooked by one like in a
Yeah,
snoot.
I'm-
And then she's shaking her head. And that trouble hook's going everywhere. I'm trying to grab her. I'm like, oh.
Screw that.
No,
Yeah.
I was trying to
got
push
one
up
with
against
pliers
my
like
waders.
that. I'm like, hey, what's
Oh,
wrong with doing
it's
this?
awful.
Hey, Smiley, how long have you been guiding?
Been a while. Maybe a year. You can't say
That's all he
everything to
remembers.
people.
That's all he
You
remembers.
want to get me in trouble? No,
No,
That's
I
what
just-
license was for.
Yeah.
He just got licensed.
Let me rephrase that. When was the last time you renewed?
That was last year, I think. No, but the thing is that I've been fishing since I was 7, but I learned. I'm not gonna say I became a better fisherman by listening to Mike, other people.
No,
Not me.
people teach you. That's the only way you get better.
and since we learn, if this guy says working fast, you need a rod, this kind of rod, or you need this. Then you combine your own speed,
Yeah, that's right.
and when you're catching more fish, that means that's your technique now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta feel
When you have
comfortable.
Another person,
Yeah.
yes, you're comfortable with it.
You gotta
It's
feel
a
comfortable.
confidence.
I got friends that catch a flounder, man, and they're doing this. They're boom, 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 boom. I can't. When I'm gonna catch a flounder, I'm bumping it, I'm feeling it for it. But these guys, boom, boom, and they're good at it. And I've tried it. I'm like, shit, I don't feel shit. You know? I mean,
You got to be
Yeah, but-
masters at your
yes.
trade. It's like anything, like martial arts. One guy told me, he said, man, he goes, it's just like martial arts, man. He goes, I'm badass at karate or jiu-jitsu or striking, but they all kick ass. It's what you pick up on and what you do the best and roll with it. It's just like deep water redfish, and that's what I'm best at. I'm pretty decent at marsh, but I can catch them deep. Like, go with your strength. Don't ever try to do what somebody else is doing on tournament day. If you want to do it and try to play with it and practice and get better at it, okay. But always on tournament day, always play to your strength.
yeah.
Don't
when
care
you
what
feel
anybody tells
Yeah,
you.
comes-
Oh, we're
comfort.
catching them over here. We're catching them over there. What do you do best? Okay, guys, let's talk about it. That's what we're going to do.
good. I'll give you a good
Because
example.
you will get your ass kicked
Yeah.
if you try to be somebody else.
Yep.
Go
The-
practice
the-
and put it all together. But on tournament day, be yourself and fish to your strengths.
Yeah,
Like my
fish you.
100%.
My
100%.
wife's here, and she's on the other side of the camera. But here's the deal: if I need a flounder, I got 2 people I'm gonna look at. My wife.
Don't look
Or
at
Robbie.
me. Don't look
Or
at me. I'll catch some big trout on
My
top
wife-
water.
my
3 hooks
wife-
food.
I can't fish with my wife. I love her to death, but I can't fish with her. So
Because
I
she
got-
beats you, or
Oh,
Yeah,
kind of. But
Oh, Mel.
Because she knows where 212 is at.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But she
She
fishes.
hovers over.
She fishes differently. My wife can be looking at a damn bird. or a butterfly.
And
she
snap.
gets a dead flounder. And I'm concentrating on catching a flounder. Oh, look, I think I got something. What the hell? You know?
I think.
You know? But that's my wife. But I can't fish with her. I love her, but I can't fish with her. You know? And but she's got a different technique.
Yeah. You got to fish with who makes you.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a phenomenal fisherman, but I always say in tournaments, if they don't make in tournaments only, I'm not talking about when you go fishing. If you're fishing a tournament, if that person doesn't make you better, or when you stop the boat and you go, okay, there's 2 spots, we stop the boat, I'm going left and you're going right. When you jump out and go left and he jumps out and goes right, if you say to yourself, man, I better catch him because he ain't, better get a new partner.
Yeah.
What you want is a guy that when you jump out and you go, damn, I better catch him because I know he's gonna get him.
Yeah.
You know,
That's who you want on your team.
That's
hard
definitely
to
not
find.
me.
No, that's hard to find because you got to have the same mentality.
And a fishing
it's
tournament,
all it's
it's
like
gotta
that.
be a team effort.
Yeah.
It's got to be a team effort, and you got to have confidence in your
a team
teammates.
member. Yeah.
100%. Because if you don't, it just don't work
That's
out.
why I don't bring her.
Because she doesn't have confidence in you.
No,
That's right.
she's got enough flax on the wall to go. Yeah, I catch him too.
Would you believe? That's another thing. I do fishing tournaments, and I love my team members. If we win, I love it.
What team
But
you
if-
with? Who's your? Just you.
Yeah, I have.
I don't know. You're a team protein shop.
Hey, Wet Dreams tiene como 10 teams. Yo creo.
Well, me and you're gonna fish shallow
Oh
sports
yeah, we
tournament.
are.
Well, what's y'all's team name going to be at Sal's?
I don't know.
You
He'll
know,
name it.
you know what?
It was
Every year we make
212.
something.
It was it was
Whatever.
hello,
baby.
my friend.
Hello,
Hello,
my
my
friend.
friend.
Hello, my friend.
We always come up every year differently. It's just for fun. I mean, we go out there. Yes, everybody wants to win, but you know what? We go out there.
Hey,
And
in
we
a
have
bait
fun.
tournament, it's okay to throw bait. If everybody's throwing bait, it's okay to throw
Yeah.
bait. Some people get kind of caught up in that like ego deal where you go, well, man, I'm just only going to throw lures because that's the right thing to do, and that's respectful. But if there's 250 boats in it, like the shallow sport
Money in
tournament,
it.
and everybody's throwing croaker, I don't see where there's anything wrong with if you put $500 or $600 in or $1,000 with the Calcutta to throw croaker
Yeah.
to even the field because people are throwing cut ballyhoo, people are throwing cut mullet, people are throwing croaker. And if you want to win, yeah, you might place one time out of throwing lures in 10 years. But if you want to win and put your money
It's
in,
bait.
like you gotta throw what gives you the best chance to win.
And I'm glad you're saying that.
Well,
because
no, that's
people-
because
I
that's
mean,
the right thing to do. It's legal. It's the right thing to do.
Yeah, but I'm glad that you're saying that because again, you obviously are the owner of this,
And I'm
two-
a fisherman
and
first.
people
I'm
look
a
at-
fisherman first, lure guy second.
and people look
Also,
at
that's-
look
that's
down
cool.
on you.
Absolutely.
for that.
And that's
Doesn't matter.
that's exactly
Awesome.
our mindset too. Everything we do too. It's just around we're here. I mean, that's why we're here behind here. We're talking
Right.
about fishing just because
Yeah, I mean,
it's about that.
Mike, I love the down south lures. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Time and place
But
for
in
everything.
winter,
Time and place for
In
everything.
winter,
Down here
I got
in winter.
yes, in winter, I got a lot of winter Texans. They don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
No,
And
they
like I
can't
said,
do it.
and they're
They
not
can't
going.
do it
And
right.
the fish once again are not moving real fast. They're sluggish. The water's cold. They're
Right.
more numb. I throw bait, but when I catch a fish on bait, I tell them what did I do the last time I was on lures. I was putting Bud Light or some kind of drink in the dam. I said, "Go." I had a couple of fish. That really worked. No,
No,
I'm spicing it up. But
Because I'm gonna eat it.
but when I,
The
do
fish out.
use bait, I do say, hey, this is what's working for me today.
Yeah.
And if it's cold tomorrow, that's what I'm going to use tomorrow. And when
What's
it's
your favorite
plastic,
bait to use?
Mullet.
Mullet.
Mullet. And if you go to HEB, I'm not going to be like Fred buy a
Kroger's not
spam.
your
What's it?
favorite.
Spam.
Spam.
Spam. No. I buy anise.
Anise. But the Pam is for the reels.
Yes.
Is what he said.
And anise
And for
is like
dinner.
what they do for the
For dinner, you're over there.
No, they do it's for the bread, man. And it's like a little bottle. And I put that like two
It's
or three
liquid,
drops.
right?
Yeah,
It's a little liquid,
You put it
yeah.
And you shake it up.
Yeah.
And even if you got the bait in your hand, you're like this because it
smells so
good.
nice, yeah.
It's like liquid. It's like candy. Or
Yeah.
something.
When I was
That
in
goes
when,
back. I heard that from like
Yeah.
a 7-year-old
Oh
man.
my God!
Yeah, it's been around for a long
when I was in high school, I used to fish with this gentleman, and that's what he would do. It was crazy. He had a routine, so he'd stop at Stripe. I mean, he'd stop at Stars, and he would only buy that small little eyes. He'd go get Shiner, and then he'd bring the anise, and he'd put it in there, and he would leave it for a whole hour before we
Yeah,
could fish.
before you catch
He
it.
had his thing, but bro, we would slam them reds. It was
They-
crazy.
they
And,
didn't smell
and then when you go home, it's like,
And it's clean, yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
and
like-
you
so
caught
good, man.
and
Yeah.
what I've seen a lot of people when they go out they're using bait. The enemy to bait is they get the cutting board, they cut out their mullet, or they cut the china, depending on the china, like this or like this. They cut it up, and the wind's hitting it, and it dries it up. That hurts it. Me, what I do when I'm gonna cut bait, I cut my mullet, I get a baggie. I have 2 bags, depending on my fishing trips for the week. I add that stuff on it, and I have it nice. I have it cut up. Because if you leave the whole mullet, what ruins the mullet, it's what they have inside. It ruins it. It's the toxin. I cut it up. I wash the guts out, even though you're not supposed to. But because I'm adding that stuff, I got the flavor. But the guts what makes that fish, or the piggy perch.
They can smell that
Yes.
oil.
And the problem is a lot of people cut a little piece of mullet like this.
No, put it like a cigarette
I
pack.
put that sucker like that.
Hey, when they swallow the tournament, you get an extra 4 ounces.
But what happens when you put it like in summer, when you use a little bait like this, the piggy perch are there, and they're just eating it right away.
Chingue,
Yeah,
nomás.
exactly. But si le pone uno like this big, well, you got a big, you got a little ball like this, a piggy perch, and of course, when the red or the trout see that,
Within 20
they,
yards,
man,
they'll
they
go
look,
there
and the
go.
piggy perch says, "Oh, we got something going to eat us." They take off, and they see that big
Boom.
right there still big, and they hit it.
That's why you don't have a little bitty piece.
The-
You have a
the-
big enough piece.
I call it
Big bait, big fish, huh?
There's people that call it humping the dog. I call it humping the dog. And it's like if you go, it's like when you go by.
whoa.
You don't know what humping the dog is?
I don't want to know right now.
I'm about to find out. It sounds like it.
You need me to change chairs? He wants to find out.
Everybody's got different names for it. Okay, humping the dog is like people anchor down, right? And they cast out, and they're waiting for the rods to hit.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
On the bottom. So
Right.
that means you got
Cut bait. Throwing in
a
sand
bait on the
pockets.
top, and you got a weight on the bottom.
Right.
Well, humping the dog is the same thing. Same thing. All you got to do, you're drifting.
Oh, okay.
Covering more
Yeah,
ground.
you cover more ground. You throw it in a pocket.
Yeah, we
That's
told-
it, and you take the slack out. And I mean, when it hits, you're gonna find out it hits.
Yeah.
That's humping the dog for me.
That's what it's called.
You ever
I,
catch
But-
a hard hit?
I never
doing
heard
that?
the
Oh
name.
yeah, you're gonna catch it. You're gonna catch
If you hard hits, a few gap
I'm a
tops.
down south lure too.
course.
He must be hungry. That's what I said. But it
Starving to death
But-
out there.
the people that love to do bait, I call it humping the dog. And you know what? If you aim at a sand pocket, and they're there,
Yep.
because the thing's gonna be there like 5 minutes, depending on the wind, how it's blowing. And then pick it up, throw it again, and
Throw
and
it
when
in
the
next
fish
sand
hits,
pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, we call it humping who.
humping who?
Because we used to use the valley who.
Well, value.
Oh,
no,
value
I
hoop.
call it humping the dog.
So we're gonna
And I've
hump
been
who.
around people throwing plastic, and we're doing that, and then just look over.
Like,
Why
what
is
are y'all
this
doing?
guy
Oh, and
catching?
it
And
hits so
sometimes,
pretty.
there's sometimes they want plastic, and then sometimes they want bait. But once again,
So you always have bait with you.
oh,
Yeah.
you damn right, buddy.
So you're drifting into your
You're
where you,
just drifting like if you were throwing plastic.
That's
the
it.
same thing.
Once you get
But
to
the
it,
only
reel
difference,
it up, fire
pick
it
up and
into the
fire it
next
up
sand
Damn, man.
pocket.
Can you put some bait on this guy?
Yes, you can.
You can?
Oh heck yeah! But you can't put it too heavy.
Yeah.
you
It'll
know,
drag it down.
It'll drag
Heavy
it down.
stuff.
Yeah.
And the
Just do the rig that you're talking about when you hump the dog. I wouldn't throw that with bait on it.
where's the humping the dog?
I don't know.
Show us the
Magic.
humping the dog,
Where?
Ray. So.
Where's that?
Hell, it ain't nothing
where's
but
that,
a weight and a hook.
I think but I don't know if people are ready for the secret though. I mean, this is.
That ain't
no,
a
no.
secret.
212.
I know that
this is the best. Okay.
Fred
well,
and Joe were talking about reels and what's the best reel
For
you
the
know,
price?
For the price, I'm gonna show you
so,
right now.
so we're guys, wait, stay tuned.
And I'm gonna let you know, guys, right now. I'm 53 years old. Okay, I'm gonna be 53
And
years
this
old.
is the
already.
best reel for the
This
dollar.
is the best rod and reel.
Rod and reel.
Yes,
Topo
rod and
Chico.
reel, buddy.
Oh.
It's rod and
Topo
reel.
Chico bottle.
And here, I'm gonna show it. If you guys ever seen this, it's back in the day. This is how we used to fish, and I'm not kidding. This we will use a spark plug or nuts, depending.
You
on
can't
what
use
you
a real
want.
weight because that'd be too authentic. Like that.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't.
'cause we didn't have weights back then. I mean, we
But
had
even if
them,
you
but
did,
we
like
couldn't
it would
afford
make you look like a
Oh,
sucker. Like
yeah, that rich
This
guy
thing-
right there using a real weight.
Yeah, but this thing right here,
Rich stuck
we
up
would,
guy.
we would spin it around. I mean,
So-
and
so-
it would be like that, and you throw it, and you put the hand like that, and then the line will go out.
Just like a
And
spinning
then
reel.
we would put, like I said, we'll have a rebar or something, and we'll put the spotter like this. So when the fish did hit, this thing will start spinning on you. So the first thing you would do is grab this. Don't put the brakes because it doesn't got any. And you would just pull and pull on it.
It depends on the drag though.
Yeah.
But there's no drag on this one.
How much
Hey,
drag
this
does
is
it
solid.
have?
You
That
know,
is-
but that's what we used to do. It would be a bottle, or it'll be a can,
Man.
or it'll be a kawama,
This
depending
was-
on the size of the fish we're gonna get.
And this was a higher class. We didn't have
Yeah.
bottles.
Yeah.
We had,
Yeah, no, this
Yeah.
is fancy.
Y'all doing Sprite bottles or what were y'all doing?
And it's
I
like
was-
right here.
So
These are the nuts right here. It all depends if you wanted your weight down here. You can put the weight down here and have your hook up here.
I was
Versus what
wondering
you're
why I saw a sticker of this in your boat. Now I know you're
Oh,
pro
yeah.
staff.
Oh, yeah,
You're
yeah,
pro
yeah.
staff, bro. Oh, yeah.
But you know what? All joking apart, that's how I started learning how to fish.
So no, absolutely. We-
great.
I
we've
did
heard
that,
story,
man.
so-
I did that with my
Man,
dad.
Fabian, do you think we should show them the secret that we've been working on
Let's
here?
see. I'll see the secret.
So we've been like after we talked to Joe and Fred, we've been talking about this for a while now, and we just
That's not
figured
gonna
out
be good. That's not
like
gonna
we're
be
trying to
good.
come up
Right.
with
Bro,
like
for your sponsors,
Yeah.
for your sponsors.
yeah we've been
yeah,
trying
sure.
to figure out like what can we do here to compete, right? So what can we do? We're always looking for innovative things and what we can do, and I actually got something right here. So I'd probably get fired for this, but I got
We
something.
didn't have boxes like
Hard
that back
case
in
and
the day.
everything.
This is
I
like
think he's pulling a gun.
Yeah,
out.
I
Oh
was gonna
shit,
say,
man! So
I'm
sorry, I
checking
got no
first.
money, bro.
Yeah.
All right, dude. So this is top secret here. So we've got a new fishing combo. It's called Bote.
Bote.
Oh, mira.
Oh, the 20. Wow.
This comes in a 16, 24, and 12, and for the kids a 6
Hey,
ounce, right?
the only problem with a boat that you know that, right? Those
Don't
you
know.
can only catch piggy perch and catfish.
He got a pretty good size
No,
hook
no,
on
no.
there.
You catch a red
Well,
on that, that's
well,
gonna crumble up like
Go
this.
with- go with it.
But
Don't let
this
it
one's not gonna
get down to the
Look at
bottom
the
of the
drag.
spoon.
But look, but it comes with a
Hunker
hook keep.
Because of the hook keep, yeah.
Hook keep.
Yours don't have a hook
You can
keep.
put up here. And,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
this-
You don't need a hook kip,
And
you
the
know?
thing is that one, that's a 4,000.
Oh, it's a
Hey, let me see
4,000.
that.
Yeah,
What
no,
is-
it's
we
a
have a
16,
25.
which
What is
is
that,
which is a 25.
What brand is it? What?
Well,
Natural.
this is ours. This is follow rods on it.
Gee,
Follow us,
no, gee.
You got a
Golly.
little
And
bit
if you
Corona
request,
for
we
years.
can give it to you full.
What pound test line does it have?
That is
like 30
whatever you
almost.
want, it comes in. We have different.
Hey, guys, just if you notice, it's all mono, no braided. So that's not gonna dig.
So the same thing, right? We've got your nut
That's
here,
it.
your hook.
But that one's only got one nut. Mine's got two.
This one had a bad
Oh,
day at the
you got the
doctor's.
circle that off.
Oh man, we got froze. People got. Let me figure out what we can do here. Really.
Oh, we
quick.
got frozen again. Did you kick that thing, Shorty?
Man, this is the old school way. I actually have fish with this, man. My dad,
I did.
my dad, you know, may he rest in peace. We used to
Y'all
go out
fish with
fishing.
that.
Yeah, and this is
never
what he
done
would
that,
do.
Mike?
See, my dad was one of those who did not want to get a license. So he figured that if he had one of these, he wouldn't get in trouble. And we would pull over by a game warden, and because we didn't have a fishing rod and we're fishing
Yeah.
with this, they wouldn't
They
do
said no
anything.
problem.
Well, that's changed
They
now.
wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
You're
that was
fishing,
being
you're
cool.
fishing.
Yeah, that was being cool.
All right,
back
so,
then.
so the guys weren't able to see what I pulled out of the box
Oh,
here.
this
So
is perfect timing.
perfect.
Hey.
I told you, like the CIA is watching us and wanted to make sure that this is
Copyright,
top secret,
copyright.
Yeah, I like the J hook on that thing.
Yeah,
It's not a circle hook. I like that.
So
Hey,
this
when you
is-
stick them, you got them.
This is our new model. This is our
Yeah,
combo right here. So
So
This
how
is
much-
more. This is more
so
offshore.
how
Offshore
much
right
does it
here.
cost to do that the custom right there?
well, we're figuring it out right now. We got to make, you know.
You want to
I
go.
can sell you one of them for $20 right
It,
now.
it depends if they already drank it or
All
not.
right.
You get a better deal
It's
once they
a-
drink it.
So what we're showing off, guys, what we tried to show off before our camera froze was our new combo here, and this is called our.
Our palo bote.
This is el bote.
El bote.
Yeah.
and I made this, and I went home. And
It's
my
a
dad
custom
lived right
build.
down the road, and I made this, and I had it like this. And my dad looks at me and is like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "What, Dad? It's gonna get caught in the lip."
Yeah, he got you.
That's drag. I like it.
Yeah,
It's a beast, man.
So,
So
I like
Fabian,
it.
show our people. I mean, we talked about Smiley's here, and it's so we've got
and I had this conversation with Smiley some time back, and you know, this actually goes back to the whole addiction part.
Of fishing.
You know, of
If
fishing.
you love fishing, you figured out what to
Exactly,
use.
because
Yeah,
I
you went
mean,
fishing.
Yeah, you went
And,
fishing.
and I grew up, right down the road, and I'm always proud to say it. You know, we grew up with 7, brothers and sisters. Didn't have a lot of money, but we loved fishing.
Yeah.
We loved going out there with our dad, and that's the main thing. Like he said, love going out there with family.
Yeah.
And we didn't have enough money to go buy a reel and rod or anything like
And
that.
really, back then, it was not like. Now we have the social media. Everybody's rod this, rod that.
Yeah,
reel
it's
this,
a
rod that.
comparison
But back
deal.
then, there was none
Right.
of that.
And it didn't matter. It didn't
I
matter.
used to use
It's
a lot
called
of.
fish.
Exactly.
I still don't think it matters. Like I think it's
No,
just
it doesn't.
it's
Have fun.
all about going out and having fun. I don't care like like what you use or what you do. It's like what you said. You going out with your siblings, your parents. Like that's the part. Like
just
that's
have fun.
Yeah.
You going out fishing? Doesn't matter what kind of rod or reel or what setup you have. Go with your family and have fun.
Grow
It's
and
the main
get
thing,
better.
man.
Grow and get better.
But
That's the only thing. Grow and get better
but
every
if you
time. I
wanna-
don't care if you grow by an inch.
Yeah. But if you want to take it to whatever level, like that's your fun. Like it's still fun to you.
Yes,
Go by all
It may
means, like
take you
compete.
5 years, 10
Yeah.
years.
But if you want to go compete, like in these big fishing tournaments, by all means go. But do it because you still fishing. It's
Do it
still
for the right reason.
do it for the right reason.
Right. I
Like,
remember
Right.
it's so cool to to start with this, and I'll never forget. I was already in high school, and I graduated in 2000. And I was already in high school, and my older brother and I got together, and we bought my dad a Shimano Sedona. And he
Dude,
looked
that
at
was a bomb.
Yeah, and he looked at that thing.
Dude,
and
you're
like,
going, that's a spaceship.
what is this?
it's a weight.
And
Dude,
oh my god,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
what-
I mean, to go from this to an actual reel,
Yeah.
and he had his own, big old stuff. And we finally thought, we're gonna get him some high end, what we thought was
I'm gonna
high
get
end.
him
at the
something
time.
nice, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is what creates that addiction. This is
Yes,
what
sir.
creates that ability.
Hey,
and
you want to
that
hear a
love
funny
for it.
story, man? So we go. This is a quick story. So we go to. This is one I forgot about. So it was my uncle's boat. We go to Skeeter. We run to Gibbons Creek Reservoir, which ain't far from Bryan College Station. So we're fishing. We're fishing off this ledge. It's like 20 foot of water with Carolina rigging. And back then, dude, I had no good equipment. Nobody had a good. So Dad bought a gold Calcutta 150 and a WR1 All-Star rod. Badass shit, dude. Like, dude,
Dang.
that's
Ready to
space
go.
age technology, right? So we're out there and we're catching these dink bass, and they're like 16 to 18-inch bass, but we're nailing them, dude. Curly tail, and that's kind of how I fished, like 20 foot of water, Carolina rigging, big old sinker weight, freaking brass swivel, and a little 4-inch worm. We're just throwing it off that ledge, and we're catching them. And all of a sudden, so we're just setting the hook, right? Just kind of bam, just kind of hitting them. All of a sudden, he sets the hook, and he didn't expect what he had on there. Boom! And I saw it. Boom! Put the whole rod and reel, pull it out of his rod.
Damn.
Hit the water.
His best rod.
Oh, yeah. Dude,
His best setup.
Dude, the Calcutta back then was the baddest dude 25, 30
He must have
years
jumped
ago.
in to get it.
No, not yet. No,
Not yet.
No, he has 20 foot of water just went on a ledge in Gibbons Creek. So I see that. I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, no effing way, man. That rod's sitting there and it goes, just goes off. I'm like, dude, that was a giant. So we're out there and we're just throwing treble hooks. Nothing. Dad didn't talk the rest of the day. Dude, that was a lot of money back then. We were like, I was like, dude, he just lost like a $300 combo. I'm like, now we're thinking $300 rod, $600 reel. Oh, he still remembers it. And when it came off his hand, because it ripped it out of his hand, it hit the so we were throwing mono back then. Nobody threw braid. It went dong.
He's showing the guitar.
It hit
Was-
that sucker and went.
I bet you it got pretty quiet in that boat.
Oh man, he was sitting there with a big old treble hook, which we had from a river fishing box. What the hell was that doing on the Skeeter? But he was throwing it out there and just dragging it off that ledge.
That was
No
it.
dice, dude. Lost that sucker, man.
And I was telling-
WR1 with a Calcutta, dude.
I was telling Sam a story.
Cream de la creme.
Say your dad got upset with it, and my brother says this story every time we get together as a family. Fishing with this type of stuff. And my dad had an old '62 Chevy. We loved that damn truck.
Right.
We load the back again. Like I said, 7 brothers and sisters. Took my aunt, took my mom. Ross in the back, single cab, and we used to fish with hot dog wieners.
Sure.
Cut them up.
Catfish
go, put
galore,
this
my
rubber and
friend.
go.
Yeah.
And mind you, I live right there, and the lake or the Edinburgh Lake we used to fish is a mile away. I mean, it's
Get close to the coast, some old crabs start grabbing on them.
Well, the crabs were nothing to this. So we get a mile away. Well, my aunt decides, rest in peace, she passed away a month ago. And my aunt asked 7 of us, y'all hungry? Oh, yeah, we're always
Hell
hungry.
Here's a hot dog.
Two bags of wieners went down like
Yeah,
that.
shit, that's good.
So we get there.
There goes your bait.
My dad sets up all the rebar and everything ready to go.
Where's
Comes
the
back, hey, where's the bait?
He's
My
gone.
My aunt looks at him and was like, kids were hungry.
He's gone.
He gets those stands out, throws them in the back of the truck, get in the truck.
Let's go.
We're going
Doesn't
home.
take much.
Did he ever forgive her?
Oh, man. He didn't say a word for a while.
That's a good
And
story.
it's amazing
But you know what? We ain't
about
winning.
bait.
Yeah.
It's amazing about the bait. Everybody used whatever they could. I mean,
My dad would use corn.
Corn?
Yeah, like the waters of corn. He take it to Delta Lake, and he get a
Where
small
the fish
hook.
glow right now?
No, that's Delta. No, that's Donner Lake.
Donner
So
Lake.
you know,
No,
I
it's
mean,
Delta Lake.
Carpet
no,
catfish,
the Donner Lake is where there's they
No,
found.
it's Delta Lake. That's
No,
what
Delta
I-
Lake is good now. Now
Yeah,
back
when they're
then,
half glowing now. or
back
what?
then there's only like
only
amoebas
have
on it and
3
things like that. So my dad would take the corn and he would put corn on the hook and he'd catch, he'd catch catfish, and I was like,
Damn
what
right,
the
you
hell?
will.
It's
They eat anything that
crazy.
smells.
It's crazy.
So
I used to live right behind a
So, yeah.
canal,
Abonzote.
and we had a canal just going by there. You had the white bass, or you had catfish. And the way I would do it, I would take dog food, spread it out there. But every time at a certain hour, I would do it. Why? Just once it got to happen.
routine.
So when I wanted to really catch a big catfish, I would get the dog food and pop holes in the cat and throw it in the,
Yeah.
and let it
Come
and then
up.
I'll be
Oh,
like,
man, they're
"Don't-
there, dude."
don't get that,
Yeah.
I'm out. And people just like, that's bull crap. No,
No, it's true. Theirs is like
feed 'em.
chumming. Ain't
They're
no-
Yeah.
chumming. That's
It's
all.
working.
Ain't no different.
Like going to the zoo and throwing the little pebbles they give you there, and all the fish are
Yeah.
chumming it up.
Exactly.
Sam and I were
yeah.
talking about when I brought this into the shop, and we talked about it, and again, getting back to our roots in a sense.
Who drank that though?
We're trying to bring. We're trying to bring.
found it,
Yeah, who dragged it?
I
man?
Who drank it, bro?
We're trying to bring things back to the original, like the OG stuff. So,
Yeah,
go
that's
ahead,
That's
baby.
OG there.
I think somebody's got to make a shirt with one of those.
Oh, wait.
I
Just
think that-
let's hear Fabian out.
Let's
Let's
see
hear.
where we're going with this, man. For the month of February, we're actually going to hold an online tournament. If you catch a fish, I don't care what fish it is, we're hoping it's a redfish, trout. I've never
you
caught
gotta
Well,
be-
it.
there's two divisions: redfish and trout.
And
Okay.
then, not only that, there's a bait and a lure division.
I like
So,
see a lure division on that.
If you catch a fish, you submit it to our page.
that would be badass.
At the end of the month, we're going to look at all the submissions, and at 7-day, we're going to go ahead and throw in about $50 of whatever you want to buy in here.
No, what you
I'll
need
tell
to-
you
no,
what.
no,
I'll jump in that, and this is totally ad lib. I'll
Yes, it is.
jump 50 on that too.
There you go.
No, here's
So
the
we
deal.
got 100
no,
right
no,
now.
No.
Smiley's gonna throw a raccoon in there for
No.
you.
You gotta,
Hind quarter.
you gotta
raccoon.
we've
So
gotta
this-
make it fair
Okay.
for everybody. Why? Salt water. Let's not forget about the bass fishermen. Let's not
We'll
forget
do
about
50
the
apiece.
whole-
Hell.
Yeah.
Something about everybody.
All right, 3
together.
divisions. So we got redfish, trout, and the saltwater. What do we need to do on the
Freshwater.
freshwater side?
Another 50, just a bass.
Yeah.
A bass?
I'll put
Okay.
a 50.
Bass
You know
or-
what?
bass
Hold
or
on, hold on,
catfish?
hold on.
Bass. No. So what we're
Do
thinking
bass
is
and catfish.
Okay,
The hell
four
with it. Do
divisions.
5
All right, guys.
divisions.
all right. 5. How do we get?
Hey
5?
guys, this is ad lib. I didn't
Yeah,
know
we're just
about this.
Yeah, it
we're
is.
figuring this out as we go. So
Whoever catches a fish on a cat and proves it, I'll give him a free fish.
Damn,
there
guy,
we
I'm
go.
leaving already. I'm going fishing. Fuck this shit.
all right.
You gotta show me that you got it.
No. So what we're gonna do is you have to record it. You have to record it
Yes.
on
Yes.
video where you're
On
actually
video.
fighting a fish,
Yes.
and you have to
Don't catch it and let it go.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to go out there and show where you're kind of fishing with
Hold it there.
with either
That is neat.
with a palo bote or a Hoya,
Yeah.
and or any
Use
other.
a Bud Light. We
But-
don't care middle line.
It doesn't
What-
matter which
Slits-
one.
Totally free.
We want to
totally
see.
free.
We want to see a
Nothing- I
video.
I got 5 divisions.
We got-
$50 for down south lures. Y'all do what y'all
Okay,
want.
no, we got
For
5
sure.
divisions, 50 for each of them,
And
and
we
then
gotta make a video. They
we gotta
have
make
to
a video.
and post it on
Yep.
somebody so we can see whoever gets the
Tag it
most
on
likes.
7
And I'm excited, man.
We'll
Can
do
I
it.
can I
This is
can I
called-
participate?
this is
'Cause I'm
called-
getting
Yeah,
excited.
You can't win though.
this is
Ah,
called
shit.
this is called you participate. This is called the bote challenge. So
It's
you
a
have
bote or bottle challenge.
There you go.
okay, we need to come up with one name so we can use a common hashtag. So,
Bote, bote.
bote and bottle challenge.
Yes.
Okay,
bote
bote and bottle challenge.
Whatever you get
BOTE.
a
America.
It can be bait, it can be earthworms, it can be whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever.
Cut
But we
bait.
want to see a video.
Yeah, we
Yes.
want to see a video and really, so the 5 divisions: redfish, trout, bass, catfish, and artificial.
Artificial be great.
Artificial. So
I'd like to, but again, this is a disclaimer. If this goes through your hand,
Yeah.
Show us the video.
Yeah. We don't want to see any.
Don't show us a video going to the hospital.
you may get a compensatory.
Yeah.
but you know what? We will write this down. We will
So
have
it's-
it, and we will post it. The
Yes,
official
we'll honor
rules.
it.
This will go through the 28th of February. Obviously, it's a month with the less days. We're not in leap year or anything like that, right?
Let's do it to the 29th, just to make sure.
So we'll go the 28th February. We'll check all the entries, and we will actually announce the winner at the Houston Fishing Show.
Which will be March 4th.
Yeah.
3rd,
Yeah,
something
we'll
like
announce
that.
the winner there. We'll do a live video there. We're gonna be there.
And so
That'd be awesome. We'll do
and so
something.
what we're gonna do, we're looking for length, right? So we're looking for the length of your fish. If people with the same length, and we're gonna, I mean, there's some
depends on the
tolerance.
species.
Yeah, well, that's what I say for redfish and trout and bass and catfish, right? Those are the 4
Yeah.
divisions.
And
And then
So get a measurement on
artificial.
the
The one
video.
with the closest to the limit of whatever the catfish is.
And again,
Yeah.
it has to be
The
within the
catfish is
limit.
not has no limit.
They're just talking about length.
Yeah,
Yeah, length. Yeah, we're talking length. So longest fish, and then if, there's probably because it's hard to measure, right? Whatever. And so let's say, just so we know what the rules are, it's
So
completely
go get
free.
your boat there. Hurry up.
So go get your
Hurry
boat
up.
right now.
Yeah.
But
Go drink you a freaking
but in
Go
multiple.
Sickies.
Don't say-
We'll be selling them here, and
and Frank Chamberlain is
Yeah,
not allowed.
free beer.
Frank Chamberlain's not allowed.
No, hell no.
Not Frank Chamberlain.
Oh man.
Yeah,
It's
but
like
yeah.
fish
So
also.
if multiple people catch a fish with the same length, then we'll just raffle it off between those
Yeah,
guys.
You know
right?
what
So-
would be cool?
Whoever came up with it first.
No, because then that's gonna stop people. Like
No, just do it. Just do it. Raffle it
just
off.
raffle
Okay,
like
we'll
tie.
whoever-
If you
whoever-
tie, if
yeah,
you
you
20
tie.
inch
Yep,
redfish,
yep. You
Put your name in the deal.
put it in
let's
the raffle,
roll.
yep.
All right,
So-
there you go.
video is the
That way
key.
nobody quits.
But we
Video,
need your
video,
video, and you
You don't
have
want
to
a picture.
to
No.
tag 7-Day Addiction, Down South Lures.
No.
Well-
We need only one person. That way it stays.
Okay.
No, tag all of them. Hell.
No, you can
Tag
tag us,
212.
but you know what? If you can
That
upload
may-
it
yeah.
and post it on the 7-Day Addiction
Next
media.
day.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so
the-
okay,
that's the
that's
one.
where
But
it's gonna.
hashtag everyone.
Because I'm
Yeah.
always busy drinking,
So
I don't have
and,
time
and
to
if
be
anyone needs a bottle,
Yeah.
So what if you catch it on one of these on a 212?
That's awesome. Even better.
You
get a
That's
bonus.
artificial.
You get a bonus.
If you catch it on a 212 rig, you go out drinking with me tonight.
Hey, I'll
Damn.
tell you what. If you can catch it on a down south,
Well, yeah.
lure,
On a
that's
212
another.
rig.
That's another 50. Or even
Yeah.
just down south or 212 rig. I'll throw another $50
Oh.
on top of it.
Damn.
That's
That's a challenge.
$150.
What if you catch it in a thong?
Not on mess. That's another $150.
Damn, am I pushing it too far already, right?
So what it sounds like is the rules are kind of, it's a free tournament. The rules are kind of up in the air. We're doing this for fun. We're trying to bring
Make
this
it what we
back.
get.
Make it whatever we can, guys. I think we have a lot of people out here that are gonna,
We'll
just
donate.
Yeah,
we're
we'll
gonna do
donate.
something.
And
We don't
we'll
mind.
decide how we're gonna. I mean, this is a big one. So
Yeah,
we'll
I think the most likes, the video with the most likes that we have.
We'll do something with
I
this.
think
We'll do
that's-
something with that.
Yeah,
I'm
trips
down
right
for
there.
that, Fabian.
Yep.
Got it.
That is awesome, man.
Or anyone that participates in it, we'll just raffle those.
We can do that too. Put
Yeah.
your name in the hat, and at the end, everybody that participates get some down south lures and maybe a Fabian
Yeah.
7-Day Addiction T-shirt
For sure.
or something. Yeah,
For
something
sure.
like that. All right.
All right.
We're,
so-
we're all going to pitch in.
212 rig. Throw a 212 rig in there.
yeah.
What? I'm paying for the damn thing tonight, folks.
Okay. Throw all of them. 20.
God damn, but now I wanna
How many you gonna
participate
give
in
out?
this.
Hold on. How many
Just
you
one
gonna give?
212 rig is all I need.
Making sure.
I'm going to steal one when you ain't looking. Like, here you
That
go,
won't be
Fabian.
too hard.
Yeah, there we go. 212 rig. You can see it.
Hey, Mike. And this is going to be at the boat show?
That's gonna be not at this one. That'll be at the fishing show. I just got a few of them.
What is that? So
that's called Ransom. It's one of our new colors, a burner shad.
I can't hear it. I got something.
I don't have anything rattling in it. I don't have a rattler on it, but it's just a
tasty.
nice little bait. I mean, purple
It
back,
is.
blackhead, just something nice. We always come up with new colors. Come up to the boat show and just see what we got going. Love to talk to y'all.
That's gonna be at the Houston one, right?
That'll be at the Houston one, but I do have payday. And
Payday. I love payday, baby.
and high
That's
cotton
Friday.
at the and that's payday.
Is this here?
Yeah, I'll have that one at the Valley Boat Show, and also high cotton. These guys are catching them and baffing on those. Hell, I caught a 6-pounder in the Legends tournament on that one this past weekend.
This is awesome.
That's a good one. So I mean, we'll all be there. Come out, hang out, buy lures that you want, buy 212s, buy.
Or have a beer.
That's
No,
the best.
Hold on. Leave
We
me
all
finish.
want to
Have
just
a beer.
talk fishing.
Bring
We
us
don't
a
care.
beer. Bring us a beer.
No, come to us and I'll give
Bring
you a
us,
beer.
no. Bring us a beer.
Well, I'll have beer. So
No.
that'll be fun.
I think this was obviously this was a heck of a time. I mean, to talk to two guys who are out there and well respected.
Thank you.
I mean, I cannot thank all of them. And I'm talking about 1 and 2 that got
Oh, my bad. Hey, don't hurt to try.
But you know what? At the end of the day, man, I appreciate the support. I appreciate what you guys are doing
Sure.
for our community, for the angling community. And like you said it best, man, you're teaching people how to enjoy the outdoors, how to enjoy fishing.
You have to. You have
That's
to
what it's
enjoy it. Don't go with the mentality about getting your limit. Just
Yeah,
go out
that's
there and
it.
have a good time.
Absolutely.
And I understand it's expensive to go out there, but enjoy it. You know, enjoy it. Find your right captain that you're comfortable with.
That's right.
I'm not just saying with me, but just find the right captain because each captain is different. You know, you might like something about him, you might not like something about that person, but find a captain that you like, that
your
your kids are going to
research, go
enjoy
with 'em.
and have fun.
Yep.
Just go out there and have fishing. Go have fun. That's basically it.
No,
Bottom
no-
line is having fun.
Absolutely, it's the passion, right? And
Yes.
it can be done at any level. Like it's just like any other hobby or
Absolutely,
anything you can
yeah.
do. You can have professionals, you can have people that just do it weekend warrior, whatever it is. Like you just like enjoy it and be out there and because I mean there's something about just being in the water, or at least for me, that kind
It's
of
relaxing.
relieves me from the world, everything that's going around me, right? Like it
It's
just
the bills. That's what relaxes me.
Yeah.
Come back to the top. I'm back
That
again.
is- Sam said it best on one trip, man. He's like, I hope we catch fish. I hope we do this. And I think he said, we're already out here. We already won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're right. You're
And
right.
you know what? That's a lot of things that people forget about. Once you're out there, you made it. I mean, there's people that can't afford it.
Yeah.
If you guys know, I always donate trips.
Yes, you do.
And I love to donate trips to people, especially that have never been out there.
I've
'Cause
never
you
been out
already
there.
You already know how to be there. You already know how to be there.
Yeah.
It's the other people that you open up their eyes, and you know what? Maybe next year they're going to save money.
Yeah.
Going to hire somebody else, or hire me, or hire anybody. Hey, we need to take our kids, or we need to take my tia or my tio. I've had some wild women out there.
Have you?
Oh my God!
no,
And
no. He meant he's taking wild women out on
Mel, get a wild
charters.
Them
He means he's taking them out on charters.
I
That's
got
all right.
friends. Their wives say, "You know who you guys are." They
Don't
cannot
trust your
go-
wives around,
they're
Smile.
not- They're not. They can't go with the husbands. They have their own boats,
Yeah.
but the husband doesn't want to deal with the wife. I need to hook this for you.
Oh.
They don't. They want to cook some
Yeah, we
It's
talked
their
about that
time.
the other day with Wayne. Yeah.
It's their time. When they go with me, chinga, all they bring is beer, and then they catch fish, and like that's even worse. 'Cause my friends will tell me, "What did you do?" I mean, now they want to go again. I was like,
Relax.
because you know what? When you're with your wife, you act different. You're at a
Yeah.
bar, you
Sure.
act different. You're with your friends, hey,
Yep.
dale,
Yeah.
bring them over here. These ladies, when they go out there, they have a good time. I don't lose respect for them because they're having a great time. They have their beers, they enjoy it. Clean the fish for them, but it's about it's about having fun out there and enjoy the fishing.
Yep.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll give my last words, man. I'll tell about this. Is what the only thing I can say to y'all. I hope y'all listen to it. Is that it's every trip is different. Don't worry about spots. Don't worry about where Smiley goes. Don't
Yep.
worry about where this guy goes. If the wind's blowing out of the north at 20, and that so happens to be your day to go fishing, make the best of it. So if there's an island that's blocking the north wind, and all the other water's chocolate milk, you probably ought, even if you hadn't caught them there, you probably ought to go there and fish it. If the wind's blowing out of the east, just look. Don't worry about. A lot of people worry about spots, where to go.
But it's about catching fish. It's because
It's
they're worried about
catch-
catching. They're worried about catching fish.
They're worried about where did this person tell them to go. But
Yeah.
last week everything changed. Yesterday was different. But if the wind's blowing out of this, look for protected water. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Say, man, there's a green. I'm telling you, some of the best things I did in Legends last year. We were driving, like, man, we had a couple 6-pounders in the boat. I was like, man, I don't know where to go at the end. We're like, man, we kind of all our stuff was like kinda,
Rattling.
yeah, everything was all messed up. I was like, man, there's a
212.
green streak. There's a green. No. Yeah, that'd be good. But there was a green streak. So I was just like driving. I was like, take right there. I'm just going to pull. I never caught him here before. Boom. We pull in there. There was a mud line. Not a mud line, but there was a color change.
Yeah.
And fish go to color changes. It's like all about worried about your surroundings, just like we talked about. So I just pulled in there. I was like, y'all go that way. I was like, I'm going to go fish that color change. I was throwing a fire tiger down south. And didn't matter if I was throwing a fire tiger down south or not. I was fishing a spot, right? Fired out there, nothing. Caught like a 22-incher, and boom, caught a 6.5-pounder. Boom. Hey, awesome. We're weighing in 3 6-pounders and a 7-pound red. We're right up there with it. And it's all because you paid attention to your surroundings. Do not worry about spots. Go to where
Everything changes.
the weather tells you to go. Protected coves, protected where the fish can actually see. You might go to Smiley spot. Man, I catch them over here right behind Green Islands. Chocolate milk.
Not in my
you
backyard.
go there. Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
No.
If you go there and it's chocolate milk, you go, whoa, this is where Smiley told us to fish. Moron. Dude, where do you catch it? Go. I'll drive by Smiley and go, dude, what are you doing over there? Boom, I'll go with some clear
I'm
water.
going to give you
Boom.
2 good examples. Mike one day was
Paint.
fishing with his friends, and we're at. He
I
was out in
guarantee I wasn't in
Rattlesnake.
a bad spot.
No, it was up in Rattlesnake. And I'm in a tower. And I call him, is that you over there? Yeah. I said, what you doing in my backyard? I'm catching trout. I said, you keep catching those 15, 16 inches.
baby
Yeah,
trout.
we were
I said,
smacking
don't
them
tell me.
those.
Yeah,
Baby
he was
trout.
smacking them.
No,
I
they
said,
weren't
"No."
that baby. He don't know what
14 and
He don't know
3/4.
the drop off over
And
there.
I kept
He
telling him,
thinks he knows it, but he don't know the
tell
drop
me
off.
about my
There's a little
backyard. I
freaking
know
divot
what I'm
there.
telling you.
Rattlesnake.
Take notes,
guys.
It was Rattlesnake on the east side.
No. Yeah, he's lying.
On the
I'll
north.
tell you where it was. On the south side.
On the north side of Rattlesnake.
No, it was the south side.
What was it, a tournament before you were in another tournament? I was in a different tournament. And I said, hey, is that you? I remember by Rattlesnake again? He says, what are you doing, Smiley? I said, I'm going to go catch a flounder. I'll be 5 minutes. I'll be going
No,
back.
I was pre-fish. They were pre-fishing.
Pre-fishing, right?
I
I said,
didn't
I'm
care
going to go
about
catch a
that.
flounder. He said, no, you're not. I go, 5 minutes. I said, look, wait. And I took off.
Yeah.
Was
I didn't care about his little-
Nah, bull crap.
He's about as big around as that.
Yeah, he kept looking over
Looked
the
like
corner.
something out of an aquarium.
He was trying to see where the hell is Smiley come from.
Nah, I don't never care.
I don't even
I
care.
never watched anybody
But
that matter.
I called it. I told him, give me 5 minutes. I'm going to catch a flounder.
Yeah, when he's going a little cut.
But he had it.
We're on the same team. That's he's trying to be a shithead.
But it's competitive. I have to beat you.
My wife,
Yeah, but that felt good, I bet, huh?
she knows where to catch flounder. I showed her that spot. She knows it. And then through some other friends. But there's a place that me and him and my other or our team member knows where to catch the flounder. I will not take my wife. Why? I don't want to keep. She might get desperate and want to steal that hole. So am I lying or not? It's my wife.
You gonna get you in trouble.
That's all right.
All right, so I learned 3 really big things, and some of them I didn't really learn, but some things I knew already. But the first thing was that both Mike and Smiley have a lot of knowledge around fishing, a lot of experience
We
around
have
there.
fun.
I mean, you
That's
have
all it is.
you have
It's
fun out
fun.
there, and I knew that, right? But it just kind of like you guys shared like a lot of tips around things, like here's things you can do. Look for this. Don't look for spots. Look for color changes. Right, whatever.
Absolutely.
The other thing that really stands out is just y'all's personalities. Like you guys, inside, I've known you guys who've known who you were for a while now, but I mean, you guys are very open and like we can just have a conversation about fishing, right?
Sure.
And you're just
Any
like,
day.
even
Anybody
though-
can do that
yeah,
with us.
and even though the guys and kind of the audience and the people you guys have, like the attention you have, like you're really very approachable and you're very laid
You have
back
to
and
be. Don't.
Yep.
You know what? I have a problem when I drive my truck.
Hold on.
And
this thing froze again, but they can still hear us.
It's all good.
it's frozen.
And that ain't the movie Frozen.
It ain't the movie for son of a gun.
Hey, Mike, I have a question for you. One of
Yeah.
the guys that sent me a message, and he said, besides, is it all you do is lures? That's your main job now. You just
That's all I do. That's 100% of my job. Just developing lures, new lures. We'll be starting maybe in line next, like leader line, and going from there. But we want to develop the best lures we can do. Super technical, man.
There's a lot of work to it.
Dude, I can catch them. Anybody can catch them on any plastic.
Yeah.
That's what I've always tell.
If you feel comfortable,
I feel like I can catch them a little bit better on mine. And that's just what I think a lot of these guys, like
Yes.
Smiley or some of these guys are around the coast, they go, and they'll tell me, like, dude, we've been catching them for years. We didn't just not catch them.
Yeah.
Like we catch them. And then that's the whole deal. And that's what I do for a living. Man, try to fish as much. I'll share as much information as I can with
and it's
people.
only fair, Mike.
Yeah, it's only
You know what?
fair.
You want to pass.
I love
you
to
want to
help
pass the
people.
knowledge. Yes, you
Yeah,
wanna
because
pass the
look,
knowledge.
man, I mean, I started fishing. I was terrible catching fish when I first caught my redfish in saltwater as a teenager. I was terrible. I couldn't catch anything. But then people show people things, and that's the whole deal. Now, if you're in a tournament, I ain't gonna. If I'm gonna get Smiley, I ain't gonna show him
No,
shit.
no.
he ain't gonna tell you that flounder, that 5-minute flounder spot. He ain't gonna tell
Exactly. Yeah, he ain't gonna say. No, I can
But the
guarantee you.
people love it. I mean,
But
when
they
you
love
give
it.
the knowledge,
But if you
the
can take
tips.
somebody and help somebody out, it grows from, and then they share it with their people and their friends. Just like the mullet, what I was telling y'all, man. I'm telling you, Billy, how phenomenal fisherman, probably the best pure fisherman I ever fished with. They all show you things, and if you're fortunate enough to fish
Pick
with
it up.
those guys, if you're fortunate enough for those guys to get on the boat with you and tell you something, super
Learn.
cool.
Yeah.
We're all pretty good fishermen, right? So if you can share something with somebody, you never
But it
know what
doesn't-
that'll develop into. So it's so cool. So don't be an asshole sometimes.
And
you just
there's a
go,
lot of them,
I ain't gonna show nothing. I ain't
There's
gonna.
I'm sorry. to say,
No,
there's a lot of them.
don't be like that.
Yeah, don't be.
You
it's
like to
just-
show
it doesn't
where
hurt you.
your little divot is, where there's like on a spoil island where there's a 7-foot divot where a big trout lays that nobody really knows
Where's
about.
that at?
Don't tell them that.
Yeah.
Oh,
But if you can-
212,
if you can tell 'em-
212.
Long story short, I was fishing. You can catch all the freaking 18 inches, 17 inches you want on the intercoastal by the shacks, throwing a quarter-ounce jig head
By
on
the
the right
green one or the
conditions.
red one?
But it doesn't matter. Red,
Both
purple,
sides.
whatever.
There's no good. There's no green.
No,
one,
but
red.
like some kid came up to me at the shell and he goes, "Hey man, I just want to catch a limit of trout one day." And I fish Isabella Mansfield. I was like, "Dude, if the wind's not blowing ridiculous, put your boat down and just walk down the channel.
Yeah.
Throw it on the drop off with a quarter-ounce jig head, candy apple, red with a white tail. You walk far enough, you'll catch 5 trout
You-
keepers.
and
I
heads
promise
up
you."
to you-
He was
heads
like,
up to
"No
you.
way," and I was like, "Dude,
Mike, heads up to you on that because there's a lot of guys
Just
out
tell
there that
people
will
that.
not. They don't want to say that.
just tell
You know
them
what?
that. It's just a
It
keeper
doesn't
trout.
hurt you. Just let them know.
You might catch a freaking good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if you throw a topwater by the spoil, you might catch a really good one.
How many trout have
Especially
you
a
caught
3-hook
over 30?
spook.
None.
How many what?
Trout have you caught over 30?
Over
One.
30? No.
Huh?
Just one.
What?
Yeah.
That
Don't
little
lie,
one
don't
there?
lie, don't lie, Sam.
She's caught-
Well, my wife and I
My
caught it.
granddaughter is only, and she's going to be 11 now, right? She's caught 5 over 30.
You want to catch one on a freaking lure?
And of course,
Throw
we're
a
using
3-hook
croaker,
spook.
but
Throw a
she
what?
caught it.
3-hook
That's
spook.
what I've caught mine on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's grassy around here, put 3 single hooks on it.
Yeah.
Don't be scared, folks. Everybody's like, "Oh, you got the little bait or skitter walk." Put you a Galveston bone 3-hook spook with the red gill and throw it with confidence, and all of a sudden you'll go,
That's
Dude,
my
that's a
favorite.
good
That's
one.
that's my favorite
this
lure to
one?
throw. The full
"But a
size.
big one."
Yeah, the
But
big one.
that'll
Yeah,
catch
that's
them
a big
too.
one, yeah.
That'll
Yeah.
catch them too.
But-
I'm saying if you really just don't care about a
Yeah.
bite and the wind's kind of now if it's a calm day and the water's clear and they get a good look at it, you don't want to throw that. But if there's a little bit of chop and just a little bit of color to it, and you're over some grass and there's some bait doing something, throw you a big spook.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you right now, that'll get you the big fish. They may eat it over a skitter walk.
Yeah. But the thing is that
'Cause they
a
like
lot of
bigger
people don't want to
baits.
give the secrets. Or it's not a secret.
It just
It's
not
just
a secret.
knowledge.
Yeah.
It's
It's
just knowledge. If what we're saying right now and they pick up and learn a little bit, it's awesome.
Yes.
It really
Yeah.
is. And that's how you create your own technique.
That's right.
And now whoever didn't know about the jumping on the mullet, guess what?
Yeah.
That
You
person
I'm gonna be
will
looking
laugh
out
They're
for
gonna be
that.
looking for
I'm
it.
gonna be
They're
looking
gonna
out for that. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking out
Hey
for
man,
that.
pay attention. You may not see it for 3 months, and all of a sudden you're gonna go down this. You're gonna be wading. All of a sudden the mullet's gonna go thong thong thong. You're gonna go. I better go that way. Doesn't mean you're gonna catch them. Something made that mullet
Yeah.
do what it
Yeah.
wasn't supposed
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
Somebody-
I'll
Because
be
they don't
looking
do
out for
that.
Yeah. They don't do it just for the hell of it.
They don't do it for the hell. That's their natural technique. Like I'm getting the hell out the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're
And that's
jumping
what
out.
they do.
And piggy perch do the same thing.
Piggy perch do the
Do
same.
the same thing. I mean, if you can see, if you're weight fishing and you see bait jumping over here, a piggy perch or a mullet, just
Go there.
from there, turn that way. You're gonna get something.
Yeah, if
You
you're
are gonna
fishing,
get-
that's
yeah.
not my buddy told me.
and that's
man.
weight fishing.
LaRue told me, he goes, man, if these guys that were driving these fast boats, he goes, and he's a phenomenal fisherman. He goes, if they just pay attention to the bait when they're driving, he goes, they'd be better fishermen. State record holder in the trout and tarpon. I mean, he's got the state record tarpon.
A friend of mine.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yes,
He can
sir.
catch him.
Yeah.
I
as
got
good
that
as
friend
it
of mine
gets.
at Tony Salinas. He told me a while back, we were chasing reds, and he told me, if you catch the one in the front, it's the biggest one. You catch the one in the middle, it's semi, and the one in the back, it's a small one.
Bottom feeder.
When he was telling me that, I said, you know what? I'll be damned if it's not the truth.
You know what's a good story? You remember you told that this is an awesome story, and so I've known Smiley for many years. So I work. No, this is the truth. This is
He's the guy he met at the bar. They told him to do this.
This is so awesome. This is such an awesome story. I'll never forget this as long as I live. So, this is 5 or 6 years ago. So I was working. I had this lure company, but I was still kind of working. I was driving lumber back and forth to my boss had this place in the Land Cut, badass, awesome cabin. He was rebuilding after it got knocked down. So my job was to drive from Bluffs Landing with lumber loaded down on his Bayhawk. Sucked, man. So we drove this thing, and I drive with a group of workers, and we drive there, and we put all it up, and he's rebuilding it. So a couple times, I was like, well, shit, man, I'd bring my rod and reel. And they would start working, and they were all handled out. So I'd run down, and I'd just walk from there. He had a little pier, and I'd walk down the edge of the Land Cut, right? So this guy told me, he goes, hey, man, this is a true story. Totally. I was like, man, this guy's so full of shit.
You still
No,
believe it?
I was like, he's so full of shit, man. This is like 5 or 6 years ago, and before I knew him. He's like, hey, when there's stingrays in April or May, they're dropping babies. He's like, and the fish will follow them. And we throw it a stingray and we'll catch him. I was like, he's such a liar. I was like, so I'm walking, and all of a sudden I'm just walking down the ledge. So if you know, the land cut's like super shallow, it drops off, right? So I'm just walking down and I'm throwing a tail, right, or top water. I don't know what the hell I was throwing, but I think at the end I was throwing a tail. And here comes a stingray, right down the edge of the land cut, right on the drop off. And I can't see the fish, but I can see the black tail, like a bass tail, like the tip of the tail. I'm like, there's a few fish on it. I just throw a tail over there, down south. Boop, I catch one. She wasn't big, 20-inch, 18. Nice keeper trout, string her up. I keep walking. Here comes another stingray. This is April or May, mind you. Here comes another stingray. You can see the stingray. I'm like, oh, there's a few black tails behind it. I was like, that's fish. Throw over there, pull the tail there. Boop, catch another one. So I catch my limited trout, catch a couple of reds, and like one flounder on the shack, right? So I go back, I walk like 500 yards. I walk back. Not an exciting wade, but a pretty good wade.
Yeah.
Go back and get in the boat over there where they're working. So we're going to stay the night. So they put the generators out. Long story short, they put the generators out like, oh, yeah, we're going to catch all these fish. We're going to throw bait on the bottom. We're going to catch whatever. So they catch a few fish with dead shrimp on the bottom. And they're like, these Hispanic guys are like, hey, man, we want to – they got soup going. They're like, we want to kill that stingray that we caught right here. I was like, well, shit, okay. Like, well, you clean it. I'm like, well, you clean it. We'll make soup and put it in the chunks. I was like, hell yeah, I know how to cut down the back of it. I'll eat that son gun too. So I cut down the back, and I'm cleaning it out. And I clean it, and all these baby stingrays come out. And they're like little, like silver dollars, like 50-cent piece. Have like little black eyes on them. I'm like, it freaking hit me. I was like, that freaking Smiley. They were dropping. That's why those fish were following.
You guys ever
I've never seen that.
Oh, they're dropping those babies. They're just nailing them, dude. They're freaking smoking it right on the edge of the intercoastal.
If stingray's going like this, and it's a certain month, which you already gave it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'll see a trout or a red or a couple of them.
Shit, there was 3 or 4 of them on some of them trout.
As they're spitting the babies,
Picking them up.
I think they're letting that scent out as they're giving birth, and those fish are just following it. Dude, I'm telling you,
But
it's
I'm full
like
of shit, right?
clockwork. Well, at that time, I was like,
Well, he still thinks that, just not about that.
no, seriously, no, dude. When I got back, when I cleaned it and saw the babies, I was like,
That guy's a
it
genius.
freaking hit me. No, we ain't gonna go that far.
We ain't that cool.
I knew when Smiley said, I was like, he's not lying, and it was totally true. So he cleaned it. They made soup. But anyway, that's the whole story. So don't ever.
anytime you see a stingray,
when a veteran tells you something, kind of
Listen, listen.
attention.
Try it. It don't hurt to try it.
Doesn't hurt to try.
I do a
hard to
lot of
try.
tie casting, and my tower's tall, and I get to see it. What I want to do is capture it now, and that's why this year I bought a damn GoPro.
GoPro, good man. I got 2 of them. I
Because
love them.
people do not believe, like he didn't believe it. Yeah. I've seen it, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I sat there and saw it, man.
in summer, have you noticed, like in winter, when you catch a red, on this time when it's winter, you notice their tails is like most of the time it's greenish, like lime green.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know why it's like that?
No.
They eat a lot of crab and a lot of
Shellfish.
shrimp. In summer, when the mud are out, shiners, pea perch, everything, their tails is solid black. It's like a diet. It's like if we eat a salad, you know that we're gonna go. It's different. You sit down.
I'll
it's
never eat a
different.
salad.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what I've seen in my life. I'm saying, in summer I see it. Man, the tails are all black. Damn, it's solid black because they're eating a lot of mullet. They're eating a lot of.
It just ends up that
Biggie
way
perch
at their membranes.
or the shrimp. I mean, not the shrimp, but the shiners.
Shiners, yeah.
In winter, they eat a lot of small crab and a lot of small shrimp. And just when you gut a fish in winter, just check them out. When you gut
What
it,
he's
it's got a lot of small bait. They're not eating. I love in winter. This is what I love to use: small stuff. Not this color. I mean the color, but small bait. Because they're not aiming at big mullet. You might get that one greedy bastard, but 90% of the time it's all small bait. That's why when I'm making a video, I gut them so I can see for myself, not for you, but that's what he's eating. That's what I'm gonna be throwing tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna. Or I go to Jerry's bait shop there in Royal City when he's got shrimp. Sometimes the shrimp is white. Sometimes the shrimp
Red,
is
pink.
brown,
Yeah.
pink. So
Yep.
if I'm gonna throw lures,
Looking what they were
Yeah,
eating.
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Every month the shrimp changes color, and I might be crazy. People might say I'm crazy,
No.
but you know what? It's
Nobody
done
says
good
that.
for me.
No.
Nobody says you're crazy
Yeah.
or you're drunk or you don't know
Exactly.
you're full of shit.
Well, even
But-
if you're throwing a
but-
paddle tail, you
yeah.
want to match it because
Yeah.
sometimes they don't think it's a
Yeah.
shad. They just see it hopping. They think it's a shrimp.
But it's
they
the
go nail
color,
it.
and,
Yeah.
and,
It's a color.
but that's
reaction.
it's a given. People tell me, "Hey, you always walk in. I want to see what colors of bait today." Okay, I have an idea. This is the kind of lure I'm going to throw today,
That's right.
and it works for me. But it works for me. It might not work for you, and it may work for
Well, not
you.
only that, I mean, you've become like I always say that when I used to coach football, it's like you become a student of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You become a student of your craft, and when you
right.
become a student of your craft, that's when you become
Yeah.
a lot better than
Yeah.
most.
And,
Oh, yeah.
and mullet change different colors too. Sometimes it's dark black with gray.
You're right.
It's like
It's
silver.
dark
and
gray,
sometimes
silver.
silver.
Yeah.
Once again, you look at what's coming out, where the people say, "I got fresh bait." Look at the damn color.
Is it fresh?
Yeah.
Did
what
you ever
color is
smell it?
I'm
Just
gonna
to-
get. This is the kind. I go to the color that's whatever bait I'm looking at, whatever color it's gonna be. I try to match it with a lure, which you have a whole bunch
Sure.
of different colors. So
just gotta match close to the
más o menos,
color.
you have an idea.
I don't
I
think they
mean-
look at it super, super close. I think they look at a natural action. I think they see shades of what they've been eating
Yeah.
and size. And I think when they see that, they attack. Because I
Triggered.
don't think,
Shades and
I don't
Okay.
think they really.
And
There's times in super clear water, of course, they may look at it and then maybe eat it, but you want to match what their color is, what their action is, and the profile,
I mean, these guys are.
and you'll
Yeah,
get more success
but like I said,
at it.
in summer you'll see redfish or trout. They got a mullet like this, bro.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
But in winter, little piggy perch, a little shrimp, everything. Their diet is different. But it just changes, I mean, and that's what I look at, and that's what I think has made me a little bit to understand it, and which I don't
Yeah.
mind sharing it, because that's how we learn from everybody else.
Time on the water. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
time
gonna
on
tell
the
you
water.
something.
Time on
Best
the water.
best fisherman I know. One of the best fishermen I know.
Thank you.
That's
Eric-
okay.
No,
That's all right.
Eric Renteria can catch them anywhere. Won a lot of trout tournaments. Won boats. He told me, he said, "Dude, all these people ask me. They see me at the boat dock. They go, man, where can we do this? Where can we do that?" He said, "Time on the water."
Yep.
And that's what it is. Yeah. I mean, you can't beat it. You just time on the water, and you just learn.
It's time in the water.
It's time on the water. So,
Yep.
I mean, you just go from there.
You gotta go home, sweetheart.
I want to go fish. I want to go
Well, I'm
fishing.
talking
Ready
to
to
my
go
wife
fishing.
and boy. I got my Uber.
Yeah, you got your Uber, yeah. So,
Well, a lot
but-
of people think that I love to drink, and everybody knows
Really?
that. But I don't- but
I never drank with you.
but I-
Yeah, you drink Goya. That's
I
what you
do
drink.
not- But I do not drink and drive. That's, and I'm not condemning that to anybody, but I just don't do it. It's
Yep.
been almost 3 years, and I don't drink with my customers. When they get to my house,
That's a
whole
different story.
That's a different
That's
story.
not
And mind you, I've had some customers that wives come and pick them up. I don't put it on Facebook because it ain't worth it. I want to come back. Oh my god!
Maybe it's
like,
the husband sending the wife so they can get happy.
no,
Yeah,
no,
probably
no.
so.
Yeah.
I've had, I mean, I don't do it, but I have my reasons why I don't do
Yep,
it.
that's
But,
fair.
I mean, and it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Right?
It's always good not to drink and drive,
Yeah,
man.
it really is. It's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I used to do it back in the day,
Yeah.
but no, I've been lucky.
yeah. A lot of people have been lucky too, but anyway, so again, I definitely want to thank you guys for coming out to our show today. We learned a lot about your experience. We learned a lot about that. You guys are very approachable. So where are you guys going to be over the next few weeks? And
Well, today we're gonna go to a bar from here, right?
I thought you don't drink.
No, I'm not driving. I said I don't drink and drive. I'm gonna drink.
Yeah, we'll go hang out. Y'all want to hang out with us? Where the hell we're gonna go?
I
Y'all
don't know.
set
The
up.
hell, we don't change your ways, buddy.
Well, hit
Let's
us
go
up
find
on
Fred and
Facebook
Joe.
and we'll go. Yeah, we'll go all hang out. A little after party deal. We'll all hang out tonight, and then we're gonna do the Valley Boat Show tomorrow.
And if you find me tonight, I'm gonna give you a free fishing trip.
oh, but
Found you.
have- but
Found you.
Yeah, find me.
But you have to say
But
about what's the secret word? What's the code word if they see you? Because
212.
No. We can say that.
Goya Pro Staff. Goya Pro Staff.
yeah, that's a good.
Yeah,
Goya Pro Staff.
that's actually pretty good.
Not today.
Not today.
All right, so if you guys see Smiley,
Yeah,
hit him
tonight-
up with.
Yeah, we
It was
got
the first
we got
person,
10 free.
the
We got
first
10 free fishing packs of lures too. 10
We're gonna give 10 out.
10 down
10
south
packs of lures.
You want the big ones or you
It
want the
don't-
little ones?
It's my choice.
So find these two guys. Go to pro staff. Let them know. You let them know you saw them on the show,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
We got you.
They're gonna
You
take
don't see
care
a
of
line
you.
of cards just waiting.
Yeah,
for
no,
them.
we got people outside.
They
so-
don't count here.
Yeah, don't count here. We're gonna be at a bar.
Yeah,
Okay.
at a bar. So,
Anybody know a good Uber? Text me.
and you guys will be at the All Valley Boat Show all
Sure
week
is.
in here, and
Yep.
people can come out to you guys and obviously share stories and hang out with you guys.
No,
and,
just come down to the booth and talk to us. We're not gonna turn you away. Any questions that you have on what kind of lure you like or you
Colors.
want, colors, we're gonna let you know.
Yep.
What works down here? Because what people need to understand is that down here in the valley it's a different color.
Yep.
Up
Yep.
Coastal is a different.
The water's
color.
different, and-
Everything's
Yep.
different. Everything's different. That's all it is.
All right. Well, sounds good.
Well,
You might
thanks
need a bigger can.
Thanks a lot,
I'm
guys.
not bigger can.
Yeah, the other thing I learned is that you guys have all these stories about at rattlesnake. So if anyone looking,
I know.
Yeah.
Now we gotta hit a rattlesnake.
I've heard rattlesnake about 10 times.
My-
Hey, you ever fished? I ain't never caught a king
Yeah.
rattlesnake on a tournament day.
We have remember those big 38-inch trouts?
You
That-
burned them?
Yeah.
Right there by the mouth. Right by the
Hey,
mouth.
go by
Yeah,
the
they're
float-
right there.
Go by the floating cabin that's not there no more with a thing right there. Okay, don't worry. It's right
Hey,
there.
that's sick.
On the east side of it.
So thanks a lot, guys, for watching us here.
Enjoyed it,
Definitely
guys.
thanks,
Hasta luego,
Mike,
my
Smiley, guys, and we sincerely appreciate you guys coming
Sure,
out here,
definitely.
and we look forward to having a good fishing season this year.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah,
don't have to
appreciate
do
it,
this
guys.
again next year, right?
Yeah, well, whenever you want, man.
We'll look forward to returning again. It'll be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
Man. Hey, win that shallow sport.
That's
tournament
right,
this year.
baby.
Yeah,
We're
after
gonna try it.
All right, guys, thanks a lot.
Thanks a
All
lot,
right,
guys.
Oh, man, I gotta piss.
This
That
was
was fun.
awesome.
That was fun. That was a lot of
You
fun.
have to
In my mind, I've got 'em big red on the line. That's where I go when I'm itching to feed my 7-day addiction.